All right. Thank you again. All right, let's get started again. Uh, just a couple of things. My name is Dr. Kim Oglesby, and I'm not sure why my video is not showing, but let's try this. I just love Zoom. There we go. Yay! Zoom is a wonderful thing. So again, good morning, good morning. Um, Going to get started this morning. Again, as you heard, this conference is being recorded. And maybe that's why it stopped. But we're going to get started this morning. Just a short introduction, and we're going to give Monica the floor. Hopefully, her voice is okay. She was with us yesterday. Okay, awesome, Monica. So I was super excited. It's been one of the events that we've been trying to plan all year long because we felt as though, we wanted to start everyone off with a great year with some resources and tips and things that sort. So that's how Authors Who Own It was born. I wanted to start by sharing a quick piece of my story. I didn't have a journey of being a best-selling author or a publisher insider. I actually started as a publicist who kept meeting some incredible writers with powerful stories. My first client actually was a Christian author. We went to school together, and she came to me and said, Kim, I need to sell 500 books. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. But with my background in PR and marketing, we figured out not only to sell 500 books, 5,000 books. She got from that, she was able to get a deal to write two more books. And she has been doing really great ever since then. But one of the things was her book resonated with me. I enjoyed reading it. I couldn't put it down. So I knew that was like a area of my journey that I wanted to go. I wanted to help authors, and I wanted to figure out how to get their voices and their stories heard. So that was like how I really got started. One of the things also is that I knew that, many people did not realize that there were so many Black authors out here. And I wanted to make sure that I positioned them in a place where they are seen, heard, and their books are being read in all areas. And then work with them to make sure that the marketing is there, not just, going to a location and just setting up a table and selling your books, but making connections, building relationships with people. So that was one of the things I wanted to ensure. And then also making sure that people heard your voice. Most of the time, you write this book and people see the picture, but you want your voice to be heard. You want your story to be understood. So, as a publicist of that author, I learned those skills. And I say, well, if you're writing this book, I know there are other authors out there. So I said, well, let me create a Facebook page, a Facebook group called Black Authors Association. So I did. I know it was like 1,000 people on there. And it was really intimate. I knew most of the authors. And then I turned my head and it grew to 25,000 authors on there. That, one of the things I really enjoy is everyone connects with each other. If you post a question, someone's going to answer. If there's an event going on, someone's going to share. So it's not just a group, it's a community, it's a family, it's a supportive atmosphere. And we make sure that it stays that way. We've been really great with keeping it really centralized, that we're here to support each other. We're here to give resources. We're here to make sure that, if you have something to share, you share it, and also have a family atmosphere about it as well. So I actually I watched how the industry was growing. I seen that some authors came into the industry, and their dreams shrunk. They didn't know what to do after they wrote the book, and they were waiting for permission for people to say, okay, well, you do X, Y, and Z. But I believe that everyone should be successful and everyone's story should be heard. So, I decided to make that change. I decided that I was going to advocate. I was going to go find bookstores to allow Black authors to put their books in. I was going to reach out to schools and say, hey, can this author come in and read their story and meet the kids, or reach out and talk with the teachers on how to implement their books in the curriculums. I was going to make sure that when you see all these book fair events, that we have a diverse audience as well. And then when we have conferences that post on Facebook, we see us. you know, you see these conferences. I'm like, okay, you could not find one person of color to be on the panel. So, so I am always advocating, pushing, and they're like, well, who gave you authority? I said, okay, so you want me to get the authority? Let me go back and get my doctors. And that's what I did. So now that's the authority. I went back and my study was about how reading improve how reading helps kids, when they're in school, but also it helps families grow together as well. So I am there out always with books in my bag, making sure that people know about the Black Authors Association and the members that are there. So these couple days, we're going to be talking, people are going to be sharing resources, and I want you to be able to understand a couple of things. You need to take notes because yesterday was awesome. Monica could attest that. The note, you got to take notes. I call my sticky notes. So when I hear something, I write it down and I remember it. So you're going to have a lot of notes. So make sure you have some pen and paper and ready to go. And then if you have something to share, I always open the floor up to everyone in the room to share resources. And of course, if you're an author, you're going to be put on the spot because I'm going to ask you to tell everyone about your book and what you're doing. So you're going to have those opportunities as well. So today is not about, it's more than just writing books. It's about owning your message, your brand, and your impact. Over the next couple of days, we're going to talk about real strategies. We're going to hear some powerful voices, and you're going to connect with other people. A lot of times authors feel like, oh, where's all the other children's authors? Where's all the poets? Where's all the fiction authors? You're going to meet some, so you don't feel like you're on an island on your own, and ask some questions, connect, directly in the chat if you want to. So you're going to have opportunities to put some faces to the names that we see in our group this today and tomorrow. So I want everyone, like I said, take notes, introduce yourself when we give that open floor, and make sure that you're in this room and in this conference for a reason. So let's get started. Monica, you're up.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kim, and everyone in the community. I really appreciate you, Dr. Kim Oglesby, for having this platform and having this ecosystem for all of us who are authors. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And once again, I'm going to say it says host needs to just, okay. Once again, I am in the Midwest. And so we had like a snowstorm kind of thing going on. And, you know, I'm working through it, but it is all good. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I am super, super excited to be in community with all of you. So first and foremost, welcome to this session. I know we have people from different time zones, so it's super exciting. My presentation is all about the multi-generational blueprint and how you can use your book to build a brand that speaks across multiple age groups. So that would be my focus. The first thing I want to start off our conversation is stop picking a lane, start owning the highway. And to kind of go back to yesterday's session, which was fantastic, wonderful featured speakers, the big takeaway that I got was, you do not have to ask permission, you know, own your own voice, be your storyteller. So I think it totally resonates with today, my presentation. Stop picking a lane, start owning the highway. Let me tell you a little bit about me because this discussion is about multiple generations. I stand on the backs of some amazing women. My collections of books are all about cultivating one's risk-taking skills, and for my younger readers, bravery skills. So here before you, I want to share some, and my book series is called Everyday Daredevil for my adult series. here are the amazing everyday daredevil. You see my mom. I'll just kind of highlight that this is my mom over here, Dorothy Ann Swope. She did transition and became an ancestor about 5 months ago, but she is always with me and she's even with me today. And then if you see here in the black and white photo, that is my grandmother, Gussie Mae Leonard. She was migrated from the South, came to Chicago roughly in the 60s and was very entrepreneurial. She only had a sixth grade education, but went into real estate, entrepreneurial, and both of these women make me who I am. This is me at the tender age of eighth grade. So I like to first give homage and definitely dedicate this talk to both of them, the original everyday daredevils in my life. Really quick about me, I am an entrepreneur. I started out as an educator. A history teacher, and thought that is what I was going to be doing. And by happenstance, I opened up my own education consulting company. We're actually in year 13, and my journey kind of catapulted in different directions that got me into winning some small business awards with my company, later doing lots of talks and things like that. I'm also a master certified life coach and have different certifications in all these areas that amplify how we can move forward and envision the life that we were meant to have. So, for this talk, I want you to meet the architect, which is me. I am a published author across children's and adults categories. I have discovered how to build. I wrote my first book, a 50-page book, in 2020. And it's been a really interesting journey. From that, went through materials, instructional materials, reflective materials, and children's materials. So I call this creating that thriving ecosystem where every single book, whether it is for your young readers, your young adult readers, or even your adult readers, it will open doors. I like to say my expertise, it's not theoretical, it's lived experience over the last 5 years. I call it these calling cards that books have to unlock your classrooms, our classrooms, events, conference stages all across the country. Actually there. Here's a collection of some of the books that I have published. I have actually in the works of publishing some middle grade books because of the demand of my readers. And that's kind of how I write. At the top, we have our Brave Friends series. These are multiple award-winning books. These were actually published in May, listened to students as well as teachers. And this series pretty much is based off Everyday Daredevil. If you see down here, this is the book that started everything in 2020. The children's book brings the bravery skills, basically everything in Everyday Daredevil to the scale of students who are young people who are ages 2 to maybe 7 years old. Have coloring books because I do believe that everything that you write, and we'll talk about that in a moment, think of it as writing like packages, okay? And that's how you can, write so many books. To date, I think I'm up to probably about 13 or 14 books. I wrote a textbook for a publishing company, and then I have these two other books. So I'm kind of losing track, but think of them as bundles and bundles that will be multi-generational. So if there's something that you want to write down, think of every single book should be one that you can create a bundle as well as something that can create multi-generations. And then at the bottom, I have my Spirit collections. This is actually just recently launched. It's really helping readers with cultivating a mental hygiene, I like to say. And then Everyday Daredevil, these are our series. This is the maiden book, guided journal, and then coloring books. This is the coloring book as well. So overall, and I'm going to say this. When you look at my Amazon page, what do you see? Some people say, wow, you got a lot going on there. You got children's books, you got some mindful books, you got some adult books, and sometimes the professional feedback people say is like stay focused on one genre or stay focused on one grade age level or stay focused in one area. Yes, but then also no. Okay. I don't look at the diversity for multi-generational as like, chaotic or too diverse or not focused. I look at as generating multiple streams of revenue and then creating an ecosystem where these multiple streams will come back to you. Okay. I am a major advocate about multiple streams of revenue in anything that you do, including being an author and getting your story out there. So, let me kind of walk you through a couple of things that are bubbling up. This is the problem. Okay, there's this notion of the split personality author. Okay. And, the first thing, and I kind of alluded to this, was this notion of this niche trap. Okay. And sometimes, yes, I see you, Miss Latanya. You do not put all your eggs in one basket. Definitely, definitely. And feel free to engage in the chat and reactions. I will definitely acknowledge periodically throughout the presentation. So you have this niche trap. Okay. You've been told. You've been told to pick that one lane, pick that one audience, pick that one genre, okay? And I'm not going to say that that is not necessarily good advice. Trust me, when I opened my company up 13 years ago, I actually went through a time where the company almost closed after the third year. Okay, talk to a business development coach, and you know what they said? They said, "What is making you money? Then do that for a while." Not totally bad idea, not totally bad advice. I have listened, and then, I did my other things and things turned around. The same thing I would say for this, it's not totally bad advice. Okay. You may start with that one audience, one genre, begin to build momentum, but do not think of it as like just having those blinders on. I want you to think about what is the next step. How can I scale this for a younger reader? How can I scale this for an older reader? If you're writing children's books, what would that look like as you go up into the different generations? The big thing is keep the momentum going. We are authors on this space. Sometimes there's a lot of excitement when we first drop our book. Okay. And then what happens is after you've shared all of these things on social media, you've told everyone about it, and the novelty of it kind of wears off. Then there's the challenge of how do you keep the momentum? So keeping, a variety of opportunities to really tap into multiple readers at different, age levels is essential at this time. Okay. The other thing that comes up is this brand fragmentation, burnout. Running separate brands for each A group may drain your energy, dilute your message, and may confuse your core mission. Okay. There is some truth to that. Now, let me kind of take you back to my collection. My collection and even my coaching is very singular in mind focus. It's all about how do I cultivate people to develop their risk-taking skills or bravery skills. So I'm a transformation coach, but I'm not going to, assist you with all aspects of life. But anything that if you want to actualize a life that you once believed was unimaginable, and fear is the thing that is stopping you from doing that, then I'm the coach for you. Okay. The format myth. Different ages don't equal different businesses. When you focus on format instead of mission, you fragment your impact. Okay. Fragmentation happens when you focus on the format. What I want you to focus on today is momentum happens when you focus on the mission. The mission becomes that singular aspect that unifies all of these different products. And that's what I like to say about my books. The books are not only stories, okay? Yesterday, one of our speakers mentioned, books are also companions, which I love that. That's that personal aspect. Okay. But our books are also products. And when you're thinking about products, it's that tangible piece where you generate sales. Okay. Sometimes storytelling is a little abstract. It's hard for us to monetize storytelling. It's hard for us to put the value that is due us. Sometimes, the services that we surround it is kind of hard. It's a little abstract when we come to like dollars and cents. But if we look at, this is a unit, this is a product, there's multiple products that are going to come from it. That's where we begin to better identify the value for those products. Okay. Your golden thread is the DNA of your work, the core theme that transcends all age groups and unifies your entire catalog. Basically, what I'm sharing is if there is that one thing, when we're looking at that one thing that resonates, that kind of loops everything together. So, all my books are about bravery, skills, risk taking, pushing beyond fears. if there's that one through line that you can use as you're going through multi-generational publishing, that is the perfect strategy to get away from the fragmentation, to stay really connected to your mission. Okay. Um, I've talked to a variety of author communities, and I've been in some where folks said, I've written 50 books. Okay. Love it. And they've probably been writing, I don't know, like a year and a half. Wonderful. 50 books. Awesome. And then I'm listening further and they're like, I got a little romance here and then I got, this here and it's kind of a little bit all over the place. Okay. The problem is not the 50 books. Really, it isn't. If there is a through line or some type of DNA, I like to say, or this thread that becomes that signature for your books, then fine, have your 50 books. You can have your romance if your romance is focusing on women empowerment. You can have your reflective journals if they're focusing on women empowerment. But if they're focusing on different things, then we can get into some of those traps of brand dilution, of fragmentation, of maybe your readers not really knowing your focus or the multiple split identities. So, here are some promising practices that I would like to offer for all of you when you're finding your golden thread. Identify that core theme, as I had, kind of gave a quick little short, story about some things that I have encountered. What heartbeat drives all of your work? Begin to figure out what the identity of your collection, and I would like to say the collection or the body of your work. Is it resilience? Are you the person that is the go-to for resilient stories? Is it discovery? Is it justice? Is it innovation? Think about your collection. And even if your collection is only one book, trust me, I wrote my first book in 2020, thought that would be all. Then the guided journal, listening to my readers, 2023. Okay. Then I wanted to go into some more mindfulness spaces because I was noticing readers needed to decompress, move away from anxiety. Then the coloring books, tap into creativity. The children's books, May of 2025. And that has been interesting, really, really reigniting even some of the literature that I've done in 2020. So that one book definitely is the catalyst for your collection. So even if you have one book, even think about it. This is the beginning of my collection of books. Recognize the bridge. Your theme becomes the bridge that begins to connect all of the audiences, whether they're 8 or 80 years old. Excuse me, my apologies. Own your brand identity. Your name is your brand. The books, they're simply the medium through which you deliver the message. Okay. So, the books, I always like to say they're the tool, they're the entry point. Okay. But this kind of brings the personalization to your product. Okay. So not only do you write your books, but then everything, and we're going to talk about this, how you are showing up, like your social media and all those different things. You're going to brand yourself based upon that particular theme. So there's not a lot of confusion. Okay. So let me kind of transition to the next phase of my presentation, which is about the book as the calling cards. Okay. So here's some things that I would like to share with all of you. Each title in your catalog, it isn't just a product. It is a strategic key that unlocks specific high value opportunities and revenue streams. Okay. I want to highlight a couple of words in this line: high value opportunities and revenue streams. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. Writing books, and we all know this, it is not it's an expensive experience. Maybe for some it's a hobby. For many, it's a way for us to have our story out, to make a difference. For many of us, we want to make money off of our work. Also, identity, brand identity. I don't know too many people after investing thousands of dollars who are not interested in generating revenue. Okay. I was at a conference in Arizona, wonderful conference with authors, and they were basically sharing with us how to use our books to make money. And one person in the audience said, they raised their hand and said, I'm not interested in that. I just want to write. And, it was like the silence was in the room, right? Not saying that that was a bad thing. Oh, I love it that they wanted to write. But I think the big thing is running to write, at least for me, I'm going to say this, after I've invested thousands of dollars, I want my money back and I want to make some money as well. So this is where we go from the hobby of writing to the business of your writing. Okay, so when we say that calling card that opens up these opportunities, I'm shifting into this is the business behind your writing. So here's a couple things. We have our children's stories, these are those keys to schools, keys to PTAs, keys to libraries, keys to educational conferences. Okay. With my children's books, I've been able to go into all of these different environments within a very short period of time. One of the things I've noticed, and I had to learn it quick, the children's books, I don't know, for whatever reason, very, very open to getting content. So if you have a book that you think is an adult subject matter, think about the theme that resonates and then scale it down to the children or young adult titles, and you'll feel like there's like a new life that comes with all of those, with that pivot, if you will. Then we have young adult and teen titles. These are keys to nonprofits, youth organizations, teen workshops, community programs seeking relevant, engaging content. Now, to this date, I don't have a young adult book. Okay. What I do have, my guided journal, because I've been able to do talks for youth organizations, different types of churches called me out. I'll do a workshop. They'll bring their teens, and I have my book, Everyday Daredevil, the one that's for adults, and it's pretty much appropriate for anyone who is probably in fifth grade all the way up. But the guided journal has been great because it has the 40 days of getting your like prompts and things like that. And then it has your risk-taking plan. For young adults and teens, I've been in different organizations that loved me bringing that in there. And then, of course, there's the adult titles. These are keys to speaking. I know I'm sharing the stage with many of you who wrote books, and you're here because of your book. You'll be a speaker. Keys to consulting, keys to coaching, professional development. My colleagues yesterday who were talking about their books being a curriculum, okay, building curriculum. So these are those various revenue streams, these various opportunities. And imagine if you just stayed with one generation or one age bracket, you're kind of limiting the opportunities and limiting the revenue streams. Okay. So think about this. What door is each of your books opening? When you look at your book, look at it like this. What door or doors will this book open? All right. So I want to go into this case study of this multi-gen multiplier, I like to call it. The old way is sell one book to one reader. There is a limited transaction value. There's a single use customer relationship, very little leverage for scaling, and there's an income ceiling that hits fast. Perhaps this may be you. I know it happened to me. I launched 2020 Everyday Daredevil. I started as an ebook. I was thinking ebooks. I wasn't going to write anything that was actually in print, to be very honest with you. I read ebooks. I listen to audibles. I don't have a lot of, paper books, partly because of space. And so I was thinking, oh, ebook. And I shared with all my friends and told them the book. And I had a book launch in the midst of COVID in December. And I sold a lot of books. I mean, I want to say probably with the ebooks, anywhere like 600 books were sold. I mean, trust me, these books weren't expensive. I think they were $1.99 or something. That was so long ago. Um, but then it got to the point where that kind of trickle. Everyone got their ebook. And then a couple of people said, "Can you make it a paper? Like I would like to physically write in it." And I did, that as well. And then I got a few sales. And then guess what? There was like a whole year where they were like trickles, one, two books a month. And if you are publishing on, Amazon KDP or Ingram, that's like what, $30 a week, a month, excuse me, $30 a month. So there was like a ceiling that I hit fast. This is what I want you to think about, okay? I had to scale by thinking about this, the blueprint way, if you will. Sell one concept to the entire household, okay? Or package books for the organization, okay? Or think about high impact speaking and bulk sales. As Dr. Kim had mentioned, she had a client that had to sell 500 books. That bulk sales, amazing. Amazing if you can definitely get that. I'm still working on that bulk sales section with my vision is a whole school district. Yes, whole school district buying my books. Exponential reach and revenue. What happens is you will have sustainable growth model. So think about, I love the whole thing of this entire households having your books. I do a lot of vending events throughout these, the Chicagoland area. I haven't really vended outside of Illinois just yet. A lot of it's just keeping costs low for right now. In terms of, because I'm also mindful how much I'm investing for these vending events. I would love it that when someone comes to my table, and they see the different books. There's a book for everyone in the family. So that's why I'm doing the middle grades reader. So middle grades reader is, the chapter books. We're looking at basically third grade to roughly fifth grade. Because this happened to me. I was at a vending event that was outside, it was in central Illinois. I'm located in northern Illinois. It was in central Illinois. So I had to drive a little bit. I had my wares, beautiful venue, like 100 books, book vendors. Folks were just filing in, lots of traffic. And what got me was the mom found something. She loved the guided journal. The 6-year-old found something, loved my characters, Anna, Ethan, and Alex, took photos with my little characters. And the child who was 9 did not find anything. And that kind of hurt me a little bit because the mom is happy, the little one's happy, but the 9-year-old was not. And I said, Monica, this is like a blind spot, not even a blind spot. This is an opportunity that you need to leverage. And that's where the middle grade chapter books are coming in. Okay, so um, we talked about these blueprints. Okay, now I want to kind of talk a little bit about these different opportunities that are created when you do the multi-generational. It's all about designing activation events. I don't know about you. For me, my success level is creating an experience for my readers, um, something that's memorable, something that's lasting, something that builds trust, something that gives energy. And this is just kind of like, I've done book signings. They're great. They're great. They're definitely, if you have a huge um, social media following, maybe that would resonate. Mine is growing, in some areas the business is solid, but there's different areas. So my talent is once I'm in the room, I like to connect with my readers and connect with people. And so I believe in these activation events. So this is a little bit of some of the things that I've done, like, vending events at malls. Okay. Definitely I was in outside of Chicago where I'm located and they had I was actually in Ottawa, Illinois. It's a little bit further south from Chicago, not too far as like it's not central Illinois per se, but you're getting there. And I had a someone who approached me and said they would love me to be a featured author. And this is like the downtown Ottawa area. They wanted me to be a featured author, but what they said is they said, hey, instead, they were thinking, we usually have someone who gives activities to the kids, someone who, what is it, faux balloons, whatever, different things, and they want to save that money. So they're like, "Do you do activities?" And I was like, yeah, I actually bring old school games to to the vending. I was going to vend, but I said, I bring old school games. Now, in all honesty, I didn't have any old school games. I did go on Amazon. I got the three-legged, the little things for your leg and the sacks and things like that. So this is a picture of the kids who were doing the potato sack race, and I had big tic-tac-toe. And so I invested a little bit of money to deliver that outcome. And I will say Ottawa, Illinois, and I'm going to be very transparent with you. I was probably, me and my family were the only, brown bodies in that whole area. And that was probably the biggest sales that I made to date, all in one event. I made about 1 grand on children's books alone within 4 hours. And the people who bought the books were a bunch of white folks. So, I mean, I'm just keeping it real honest. And then, of course, there are these wonderful events with bookstores. This is one of my favorite bookstores located in the city of Chicago, doing amazing things, lots of grant opportunities where they bring the community in. This was storytelling with the kids. They had like a health and wellness fair. They have breakfast. Love what this bookstore is doing. Okay. So, take these traditional book events, make them these activation events, make them transformational in nature, create these lasting experiences that will resonate and make people like remember the book lady, okay, or the book fellow or the book person, okay? Remember, we don't do book launches, we do brand activations. Okay. Market to interest clusters. Stop thinking in age buckets. Focus on values. Focus on themes and interests that spans multiple generations. One of the reasons why I've done the coloring books was it was kind of like a placeholder as I'm trying to scale the multi-generational. For those of you who may dabble in things such as like coloring books or guided journals, those are low content. They're kind of easy to write, to be very honest with you. You can, and think of it, your everything's in clusters. So if you have your adult book, think about a guided journal, think about a coloring book, think about something that is kind of low content, really easy to, create, publish, and then it becomes something that you can monetize. Achieve simultaneous visibility across multiple audiences without the burnout by using this message that's unified, and this will be your competitive edge. All right, so I want to give, as I begin to kind of wind down a little bit my talk, and I want to open up for Q&A if we have some time that permits. I want to give some action steps, okay? Some action steps that I would like you to consider for this week. Now, I know that there's some of you on the space, you have you unlock the code. Wonderful. I applaud you. And I know there's some of you are like, you know what? I mean, I got some pretty good sales, but I would like to dabble a little bit with young adult, dabble a little bit with children's books, or, children's book scale up for my adults using that provocative theme that I have in my children's books. So this is what I would like you to do this week. Audit your Amazon bio or whatever. If you're on Goodreads, I'm on Goodreads for some of my books. I have Ingram Spark for the children's books, because I want to get into bookstores and libraries, and I had to get on platforms. So with that said, though, audit your bio. So if you have a bio for Goodreads, Amazon to me is really accessible. I go there first, it's kind of accessible. Ingram is a little bit more challenging when you're trying to upload, your materials. Uh yeah, it is a little bit more. Goodreads is Goodreads, okay? I'm also on Barnes and Nobles for some of the adult books. But audit your bios, I should say. Review your author page tonight. Identify what is that golden thread? What is that core theme that's connecting your work? Is it family legacy? Is it financial empowerment? Is it leadership? Is it discovery? Is it like, what is that theme? Okay. Make that crystal clear to your visitors. Make that crystal clear. Choose your calling card. Select your highest value book, the one that opens the most strategic doors. This becomes your lead title for the next quarter. Okay. And once you choose that calling card, then find that one bulk buyer. Identify one decision maker this week, a school administrator, corporate training director, a non for profit leader, and pitch them your vision. Okay. So I've had bulk buying, not at the district level. I'm still waiting for that. But definitely, whenever I do guest talks, um, some people it varies. That's for a whole different discussion. I know we have an author that's touching upon that on that. Depending upon the budget, some can give you an honorarium. You should definitely get something from it. But some should give you will give you an honorarium. Some will give you an honorarium, and when the honorarium is kind of small, I do require them to buy the book. Okay, because I do have a target in mind. So, that's where my bulks come in. Definitely when I bring the author to the classroom, bulk come in for each classroom I'm visiting, then there's books for the kids. You know, I'm still waiting for that district one. So I'm even going to see how I could pitch so I can get the district opportunities. Okay, pick that one title and decide which door it is opening. As I begin to close, and then I'll give you all the ways to connect with me, build your legacy, own your impact. Your books, their stories, they're your companions, they're revenue generating opportunities. They also are your legacy. Own your impact. Stop choosing. You have the unique ability to speak to people at every stage of life. That's not a problem. It is your superpower. Start building today. Your diverse catalog is your competitive edge. Use it strategically to multiply your impact and income. As I begin to transition with how to get connected, this is so real. I look to a table on the right side and they only have one book, and a lot of folks kind of walk past. Then you look at a table that have multiple opportunities for people to engage, and they're walking away with a lot of cash. So think about those multiple impact income opportunities. If you want to stay connected, feel free. LinkedIn, just my name, Monica Swope. Learning Dimensions is my company. My company actually publishes my books. So figured out how to stream, how to bring in my author with the company at large. I'm on IG and then Facebook. If you look up Learning Dimensions, it'll pop up. That is it. I will stop sharing and would love to engage in any questions if we have any time, Dr. Kim.
Yes. Anyone has questions? Thank you, Monica. That was awesome.
Oh,
Anyone
thank
has
you.
questions before I start asking mine?
Yes, I do, Monica. Thank you for the information. So did I understand that you publish books?
So my company, we are a publishing company because all of those books have been published. I will be in all honesty, we publish my books, but we don't publish, at least right now, we haven't been, at least it haven't fell in my spirit to publish other people's work, because there
Okay.
is a singular focus. Yeah. But we've become a publishing company because we've done 12 books under the Learning Dimensions brand.
Okay. And then also, I love the characters, your illustration, and that I have been putting together a children's book since last March,
Yes.
and I've been struggling with illustration. So may I ask who does your illustration?
Yes, I have a phenomenal illustrator. Her name is Tracy Lewis. And you know what, Miss Latanya, finding an illustrator for children's books, it takes a while. I had my manuscript for about a year. And my
Mm.
children's books are more poetry form. One, it was the easier way for me to kind of like write as I was crossing over the age level, like the ages, to be honest with you. It was just, I had to write poetry. And then also with younger readers, you have to make sure like the rhyming and things like that. So I had my manuscript for about a year, and it was like I was struggling finding an illustrator. And the big thing I did was, I would start asking people, then someone said they'll do it, and then like they weren't really good with following through. Like there was this whole, and I was trying different things. And I remember, and this is how I found Tracy Lewis. I remember I was at an author event and I saw a woman who had beautiful illustrations. And the illustrations that you see for the children's book, they call those um what are they? Oh gosh, 3D illustrations. Okay, so this person had this 3D illustration. I said, I love this, and she's like, oh my gosh, I found this girl on Instagram, and she said she was young, etc. And I tried to get the information. For whatever reason, I could not locate the woman. Okay, whatever. Excuse me, my apologies. And so I decided I had to keep going and keep going. So it was like hit or miss. Didn't find it. And then I stumbled upon Tracy Lewis. Someone else shared. She's a good person. And definitely, I have been happy with her. When we do a collaboration, so she's also doing my middle grades, but they're all, black and white. Just received some proof of concepts. It's been interesting. But I do give her like a kind of like idea design for each one of the illustrations.
Mhm.
However, I stay in my lane and I say, you know what though, Tracy, you do, if you feel inspired to do something else, you
Right.
do you.
Yep.
And so we have a pretty good relationship. And her illustrations, the children's books have won. My Brave New Day, which is the one with Anna, the girl, have won I'm trying to four awards. The
That's
other
awesome.
two they've won a positive impact book, so they've all won. And that's another thing too. Submit your work. Submit your work. I didn't do this with the adult, but submit your work. Yes, what? $50 for folks to, submit your work because that becomes visibility. But that's a whole different topic. And I know somebody's talking about that. So I don't want to steal the thunder, but nonetheless, submit your work because once again, that becomes a calling card to show that you have a book that people want,
Yes.
Anyway, so yes, her name is Tracy Lewis. She's fantastic. You know, um, yeah, I will say this though, some people do not like the 3D animation. I noticed some like the something that looks more hand drawn. So it just depends, at least when you're submitting it to different awards. Go figure.
Go figure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me out there. Give me something that looks good.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Miss Eleanor, you have your hand up.
Hello, hello, hello. I want to thank you. You have blessed my socks off.
Oh, you're so
I just
sweet. Thank you.
uploaded my nonfiction book to Amazon, and this is the first time I've heard, because I've been to the workshops, blah, 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 that says focus on one target audience. And I could not get away from that because my book is part memoir
Yes.
and share stories from my life from about age 17 to about age 45.
Yes.
I wanted to tap into all those people,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
couldn't get away from the fact that that's my target, the teens, the young adults, the millennials. You know what I mean? And so you saying what you said today has really blessed me. And then the bulk selling. I want to get my books to Christian leaders, but also Christian colleges.
Go
So
ahead.
Mm,
selling to them in bulk.
mm.
I mean, you just gave me some good good stuff today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miss Eleanor. You gave me so much just from hearing. First of all, congratulations on
Thank
publishing
you.
your book. That is not an easy feat and is an expensive feat. So congratulations. You blessed me so much as well because like just hearing your memoirs are amazing. And it was our other Miss Latanya. both my Latanyas are dropping some gems yesterday, okay? But our other Miss Latanya, which was so amazing, it was kind of like this. Think about your book and think about how you can take segments of it. So, like a memoir could actually be three children's books. So, from my 50-page Everyday Daredevil, three children's books came from it. Okay, My Brave New Day is basically Everyday Daredevil from cover to cover for little ones. Three Magic Keys to Growing Brave. One of the chapters, the three keys, choices, chance, and change. That whole chapter is about, that's Ethan. He does that. I have an action, like a planning, your risk taking, excuse me, your risk taking planning chapter. Alex, he does that. So your memoir, there might be three, four, five books that come from it. And I have to say, I did not just, it's like when you go to these. So this is one thing, and I don't want to. I know there's some other one who's gonna, other person gonna take the stage, but I want to say this: you needed to be here. All of us needed to be here today because when you're in these forums of author conversations, pearls come down. They drop. I was at an event and I heard one woman who said, every book is a bundle. Every book is a bundle. Think as bundles, not as singular. Think about how one little chapter could be three different books. And for some reason that resonated to me. And so there's so many wonderful pearls that are going to be dropped from all of our wonderful speakers.
Any other questions? So, Monica, I have a question, and I know it's sometimes hard to kind of have that conversation. So, you said when you go to schools, you speak, you say, "Look, you have to buy my book." Can you kind of walk us through that conversation? Because I
Yeah.
know people kind of like, I don't want to ask, or should I say something? But you have to.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, Dr. Kim, one thing I had to learn, and this is like my other business, because one of the reasons why I almost went out of business, I wasn't asking folks to pay me my money. Like it was just that, like, it was like they'll give it to me like eventually, but if you're not giving them an invoice, you're not gonna. So it's like, what is my grandmother used to say, closed mouths never get fed. So sometimes you do have to ask and you have to be persistent. So in terms of when I'm into schools, because the parent company that does the publishing is affiliated with education. So it fits
Hmm.
in the brand. I also have these entry points into these schools.
Hmm.
Usually what tends to happen, like a principal would reach out. I'm still working on
Hmm.
that district piece. I have some folks who are like, oh,
Right.
this would be great. But then there's a lot of, and trust me, I used to work at the district level before I started my
Hmm.
company. And I used to actually vet people's books and things like that. So I know there's a lot of bureaucracy. I will say
Hmm.
start at the school level if
Hmm.
you can. Now, some of you may be have access to smaller school districts,
Hmm.
like Chicago school district is the fourth largest in the country. Used to be the third largest. Would love to have my books in there. I mean, my company does work for CPS, but
Hmm.
that's not going to happen. So I would say where I'm located, I like to start with really building a relationship with the school, or if there's
Okay.
someone who's like a network level chief. Let's start at the school level. Usually, schools are kind of open to bringing authors in. And it's kind of like this. You have to feel like it has to, you got to create the experience. I'm going to
Hmm.
be the author. I will bring, trust me, when I even do, whether it's a classroom or a library, it's not me just reading a book. I'm bringing coloring pages. I'm bringing games. Like I'm their whole entertainment. Okay. So, so it's like the value add. And trust me, it's exhausting sometimes. So
Hmm.
you bring in a package. I will come in, I'll do storytelling. I will also, bring our characters. We're gonna have a little photo booth, photo time. I have
Hmm.
some, grand prize game. I got the bucket game. For whatever reason, the bucket game, what? Who would have known? Dollar store buckets, a little ball, some little candy treats. Kids love it. All they do is throw it in there. Like, remember Bozo and the grand prize
Right.
game? They love that. Easy, portable. It's a game. And then sign books. And then you say, for that, and this is where you got to get, it depends on the budget. Sometimes I've been able to get a speaker's fee. Sometimes they're like, well, we can't give you a speaker's fee, but we'll buy 30 books or a class set.
Nice.
I do kind of, for me, it's like I'll take what they're able to give. I
Right.
also look at if it's a district or a school that you know their money is good, then I would say,
Hmm.
yeah, my speaker's fee is 250 just to come
Hmm.
for your classroom because usually that's how much, and then you have to buy 30 books. I'll give you a class set,
Right.
and then it's something like this. I'll give you a class set for free, but then you buy 30. So for that
Hmm.
engagement, what is that one? You're 150. My books are $15 and some change. So I'm bad with math. But let's say from that engagement, anywhere between five to $750, I would say. Because sometimes you have to
Okay.
massage it. So I would say
Right.
start with your like if there's a school that you have a relationship with, start
Hmm.
there. Talk to the leadership. Schools love to bring in people around like Black History Month. Trust me,
Hmm.
we are
Yes.
in demand, and leverage
Yes.
that. The
Yes.
Black author, I'll take it.
Yes. Yes.
And then Women in History Month,
Yep. Yep.
you
Right
know,
after that.
exactly.
Hmm.
So find those kind of niche opportunities. Another thing that I tend to do when there are like, especially for the children's books, maybe there's these teacher professional development, and I know some of you are
Right.
educators. If
Hmm.
you can brand something like, I'll do a presentation on storytelling, or I'm thinking about Miss Eleanor's book, Memoirs,
Hmm.
like if you could say, I can come in and train your teachers on something. That's a little bit
Hmm.
more creative, but I can come in and do a professional development for your teachers, and this is falling in within your learning standards. That can open
Hmm.
the doors too. So you do this PD with teachers. For the most part, you're not selling, all your kids' books yet, but you're
Right.
exposed to it. What you will
Hmm.
get will be is I like to call this the Trojan horse. I call the Trojan horse. You created an opportunity.
Hmm.
They think they're getting you for one reason, but you're actually opening up another reason. So I call it the Trojan
Right.
horse. You came in to do a professional development, 20 minutes about storytelling, memoirs, how it's connected to learning standards, how it's helping kids learn. And then you're showing your wares. And then in showing your
Yes.
wares, someone's going to get interested. And then you're like, you
Yes.
know what? I do. And I don't know, Dr. Kim, I do this probably more often than not. When someone says, do you do something? I say yes. And then I figure out how to, so for the Ottawa, Illinois, when the woman's like, we usually have a juggler and somebody who's a clown, but I don't want to do that. Do you do that? And I was like, yes, I bring old school games. And that's what I did. And trust me, those white folks, we're all family. Those white folks were buying my black books all like, and it was nobody's business. They were buying the dolls and all this kind of stuff. I was like, these people love this black book. But anyway, this is being recorded. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I'm just being real. This is called family.
It's all
But
good.
I brought the games. And they were hugging, the dolls hugging me. It was interesting. So it was interesting. So anyway, I would say to get into the schools, I
Hmm.
would say start at the school level, maybe
Yeah.
matriculate higher up. Unfortunately, my experience is starting at the district level is a
Yeah.
little harder, although in my other hat, we've helped people with doing that. And it's just a few more hoops. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but it's a
Right.
few more hoops. So
Yeah.
I like to see some momentum versus waiting 2 years for a
Oh,
district
wow.
to come in.
Right. Okay. Any other questions for Monica? All right. Well, thank you so
You
much,
do.
Monica. That was super duper awesome. I loved all the gems. Oh, wait a minute. What's my sticky note? Momentum
Thank you.
happens when you focus on the mission. That's my sticky
Yeah.
note.
Thank you so much,
I
Dr. Kim,
love
for
that.
the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you. Thank you. And can you drop your information in the chat for us
you.
as
Yes,
well,
yes, yes.
please?
Yes, I sure can. Thank
Yes.
you. Okay.
Yes. You are. All right. So we're going to pivot a little bit because our speaker, she actually was not able to make it this morning. So we are going to do an authors roundtable topic discussion. And Our topic is going to be marketing your book. I know that's everyone always asks me, well, how do I market my books here? And honestly, Dr. Monica gave us a whole bunch of information. So this is almost like a quiz. See how much we all remember. But we're going to talk about marketing your book. And I'm going to open up the floor to see if anyone wants to share any unique or any way that you have marketed your book thus far. And share with us some of the outcomes from that. Anyone want to share? Okay, I'm sure someone sold books now. No one? No one wants to share how they market their book? It's so quiet. It's early. Okay,
Okay,
so
okay, 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 okay. Oh, there, Dr.
thank you
J.
for
Dr.
saying
J
it.
hit me first. Go ahead, Dr. J. Dr. J has his hand up.
Go ahead, Dr. J. We're gonna let you go first. You on mute. We can't hear you yet. All right. You still on mute, Dr. Johnson. All right. So while he's working on getting off of mute, anyone else want to share? How do you market your book currently? Latanya, you want to go?
Yes, ma'am. Um, my marketing is Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have a book on Amazon that I don't know. It's just struggling. Amazon was just very tricky for me, very tricky. And I did put a book on there during the holidays, but a lot of my marketing, though, overall, definitely comes from social media.
And
Social,
how many times do you post and what do you post on social media? The cover, the link, a message?
a cover, a link, a message, it's whatever comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ready to use AI quite a bit to get me more things because
Okay. Yep.
I am definitely learning or have learned that you want to post consistently. Remember
Yes.
I talked about consistent yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Consistently, so the same time, same
Yes.
day, all the time. And you can set it up where it automatically goes out as such.
Right.
So you can prearrange it. So that is the main thing there. And then, of
Okay.
course, I mark it when I'm like on podcasts or I'm in articles,
Mm-hmm.
conferences, things like that.
So podcasts, how do you find your podcast to go on interviews? Do people reach out to you or you reach out to them?
I've been blessed where people are reaching out to me.
We do. We have Miriam on here. All right, Miriam. You about to be next. You're gonna get your plug, Miriam.
Okay.
I
Yes, yes,
remembered. And
yes.
then articles, you said articles. Are you writing articles or you're pitching to newspapers?
Writing articles.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. Writing articles, yeah. I'm just like in a maze, like, yeah, yeah, writing articles. So it's been really cool. It's been a great, it's been a great adventure. Just like I said yesterday, when you get ready to level up, you just can't take everybody with you. And when you
Hmm.
learn to let people go, more doors open for you.
That's true. Yep.
I see you, Monica.
All right.
So
Thank
yeah,
you for sharing. Thank you. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Dr. Johnson, you want to share? You ready?
Yeah, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. But first, I just want to say thank you to Monica. Thank you so much. Stay safe in the Midwest. I have family in Chicago, so I know it's brutal over there where you are. I'm in Los Angeles. But marketing, to get on topic, marketing for me, I work with authors, so I market other authors' books. And some of the things that Monica was mentioning about these your local areas have proven to be like really great for creating a groundswell of free publicity for books, right? When you
Mhm.
get local libraries writing articles about your book, it makes a difference in the bigger algorithm of the internet, which helps push more awareness about books. And so, some of the things that we've done with other authors is I mentioned in the chat affinity groups and bulk buys with affinity groups. So finding groups like in I'll just use Monica's children's series as an example, but finding young parents who have toddlers in the age group for her book, and then who have groups around that, because there are tons of them. Just like there's this authors group, there are tons of groups like that, and then asking those groups to take the book on as a project or take it on as a
Mhm.
book club book has proven to be really good at creating those bulk buys of like 100 to 200 books at a
Mhm.
time, which is
Yeah.
what every author wants, right?
Mhm.
And the other thing about podcasts, if podcasts are great, but I often, as the host of podcasts that you go on, to sponsor the book in a way that they market the book as a like a commercial, mini commercial in the
Mm.
podcast for you being on the podcast, right? It's an
Right.
exchange, right? Because podcast hosts, they need guests just as much as authors need a platform. So it's an exchange,
Yes.
and most of the time they're happy to do it. Just they may not have other sponsors, but they could utilize your book as
Mhm.
as if they are getting sponsorship. So that's proven to
Mhm.
be really useful, because beyond your episode airing, that book still is being marketed on that podcast, right?
Mhm.
So, which is also another great way to get like free press, free publicity for the book. So yeah, just thought I'd throw some of those ideas. There's a thousand others, but just wanted to share with the group.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. I like that podcast and telling them to actually become the sponsor and do the ad. That's unique. I might try that one. Yeah. Makes them
Definitely.
look good. They may get more sponsors because they actually doing that. So it works hand in hand.
Exactly.
It works hand
Exactly.
in hand.
Yeah. And
So
if
it
you,
makes
just as an aside, if you're looking to find podcasts to be on, there's a
Mhm.
great free site called Speaker Hub.
Yep.
Uh, the owner of Speaker Hub happens to be a good friend of mine, and I'd be happy, Kim, to give like a free trial to their premium upgraded service. If we could talk sideline about that. We could put it in the
Yeah.
group if you like. But it's a
Oh,
great way to find, and you should please pitch to 1,000 podcasts. Like, don't stop at one or two, like a
right.
thousand, and Speaker Hub makes it easy to do that kind of in a really simple way. So I'm happy to
Awesome.
share some more resources about that if you like.
Yes, definitely, definitely, definitely. Monicari got her hearts up. Yes. All right. Awesome. Miriam, we're going to put you on the spot. Tell us about what you're doing. Can you talk to us?
Yeah, hey everyone. It's your girl Marion Smith Stevens, aka the brand paramedic and soul song conductor. Okay, so again, thank you so much, Latanya Edinburgh, for inviting me here. I come from the lens of the person tagging on to what Dr. Johnson has said. I help people with visibility, and I help you be seen, be heard, be known. The reason is we're up here creatives. We want our work. We, tirelessly put our stuff out there. We create and hours upon hours. And then what happens? Nobody knows about you. Google AI, and AI is increasingly becoming a search engine. And then, what's the use if people don't know who you are? So, one of the forums that I help is I partner with Luana Bradford. I'll put her website in here. And as the gentleman said, you can get on podcasts. Definitely, the more stages that you're on, the more people know about you. That is a goal. Also, if you want to be strategic about your visibility, that is a key. You don't want to just, throw it on the wall and hope somebody sees you haphazardly. You need to be strategic. You're writing, you're putting all your efforts out there, you're investing your money, and then, it's just laying on the shelf. So E360 TV is another avenue. It's not the end all, but it's another way. And there's a show I work with, Lawana Bradford. She is a host of 3 shows, but called The Power of the Pen, where we showcase, and she reads every book. So the great thing about it is that she shares your story. It's not like she's trying to control the narrative. No, she wants to know what your unique lens is, what your unique story is, and she puts you up there. What I can do, because it is an investment, is at least if you have an interest, if that's one avenue that you want to get visible with, I can put the intake information in there. You can fill it out, and then we can set up a meeting. Another avenue is I host every month a virtual victory party. Um, and Latanya has been on there several times. And I am one where I want to amplify people's messages. My background is in marketing and public relations and new media journalism. I love storytelling. So that is another opportunity where you can come on, become a speaker sponsor, be able to get your stuff promoted. We have videos, we have event websites on Eventbrite and on a separate event website. We do promotions. Those are opportunities. You do have to do marketing. You do have to get your voice out there. Sometimes it's not easy for us who are the creatives to also do that other part of the balance, which is getting your word out there. And that's why you might want to have other people on your team to help you strategically position your voice out there. So yes, podcasts are good. Making sure you get on as many stages as you can. Making sure if it's virtual or in person, whatever opportunities that come your way, there can be free and there can be paid. And then you can create your own stage. Create your own
Mhm.
podcast. There are free things out there that you can start your own YouTube channel and start talking. Become your own host. You're an author. Do interviews with other authors. Do collaborations. Collaborations are keys. There's a saying that your net worth is based on your networking. And so
Mhm.
those are all keys. And if you need additional assistance, of course, I'm always available to help and to be a platform as well. Any
All
questions
right.
or any thoughts?
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was awesome. So we're going to keep this conversation going about marketing. How many of you have a database, a list of emails of go-to people, or a way for capturing emails on your website, your social media? If you have that, can you raise your hand or put it in the chat? How many people have that? Yes, Dr. Johnson, awesome. All right, so I'm going to give you tell you a little secret. Yes, Latanya, awesome. Emails, oh, poetically, thank you. Emails are extremely, extremely important. Um, Honestly, that's how we were able to build Black Authors Association, Literacy Moments Magazine, and all the platforms because we were able to capture a way to communicate with people. Social media is great, but as we know, we are looking on constant screens, different groups. But if you have that email, you can communicate with that targeted audience a little bit more authentically, more often, and also share things that may resonate with them. So if you don't have any, I would say, an email database, please, please, please start building it. I mean, it could be as simple as creating a landing page where you ask people to, drop their email to get your newsletter. Not saying that you have a newsletter ready, but a newsletter doesn't have to be as elaborate as people think. It can be a simple email to that list of people saying, "Good morning, have a great day." One of my friends, she has a magazine, and before her magazine came out on her website, she just had one thing: coming soon. Put your email in, and we'll let you know when we launch. And from there, that one page, she was able to build a email list of 10,000 people. So when before she even launched, every Monday she would send a motivational quote. And it was just something simple. It wasn't a long reading, but the fact that she kept communicating with us and building that excitement that the magazine was coming, she was able to, have a good following, and when it launched, it just went to the highest level. So emailing, collecting emails, reaching out to people that if you're on Facebook and they like your post, direct messaging is the big thing now. I have to get used to that. Message them saying, "Hey, thank you for liking my post. I would love to add you to my email or my newsletter mailing list." So please, 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 emailing. Dr. Johnson said, own your audience. Email allows you to do this. Yes, it is so, 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 so important to start collecting emails. And honestly, that helps you build more with marketing. A lot of times I get an email, I'll read it, and I'm like, well, this doesn't relate to me. But I can think of 3 or 4 people that I can forward that email to. So this is the thing: you are launching a book to your email list. That person it may be a children's book. That person may not have a child, but they may have 5 or 6 other friends that they think your book may be a good fit for their child. So that's a 4 to 5 people. So emails are still important. I know, like I said, people are direct messaging, talking through social media, but emails are so, so, so still important. Dr. Johnson, you want to chime in?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, marketing. You're on the topic that I'm most passionate about, even
Hmm.
beyond even beyond
Hmm.
writing. Um, so you're 100% right about the emails. It's like social media changes their rules every other day.
Hmm.
So reaching the people that you need to reach on social media becomes complicated at times. And who has time to post every hour on the hour on social media?
Hmm.
But when you own that email list, you
Yes.
can reach them anytime you want. And when you
Hmm.
just keep them warm is essential
Yes.
as well, by sending out motivational quotes every week, or a quote from your upcoming book, or
Hmm.
just about your writing process, just a story about an aha you got while writing today. Like, just little emails to keep them warm and keep them opening your emails is very, very important. And if you don't mind, I'll throw out a resource that I tell a lot of authors to just start with in the beginning. If you don't have a website even, or a list, is to just go to MailChimp.com,
Hmm.
and
Right.
it's free for the first 500 contacts. You could build, in 10 minutes you could
Hmm.
have a page up that just says a little bit about you, maybe a bio page, a little bit about your
Hmm.
book, and a sign up form. That's
Yep.
all you need. And you can start asking people to sign up for your list. But it's crucial, it's essential, it's the way when we work with an author who's a first time author. That's the first thing we do, even before the book is complete, is we start building that list, so that when the
Hmm.
book does release, they
Hmm.
already have a base of people to market that book to, who are ready to hear from them. And
Yep.
so it just makes marketing so much easier, and it puts you in a great position to really own your audience. And you own them forever for as long as they stay on your list.
That's right. That
It's
is so true. And I tell people, how many times, and most of us have phones with apps. What do we have to do to get to that app? We had to put our email in. you know, think of that your mailing list as your reward system. You can give them, free little tidbits, or if you want to do a giveaway to your book or whoever responds back. But we have all these apps on our phones, but we had to put our email in to get the rewards for those apps. So think of it as that way. Don't think, oh my goodness, it's going to be spamming them. No, we have most of us have more than 10 apps on our phone.
yeah.
So start thinking about building that email list. It is so important. Honestly, when your sales get low, that email list will help you sell at least one, two books, and maybe just one email. You never know. Start building that email list. I honestly cannot stress enough. That's how we built this platform, collecting people's emails, communicating with them on a daily. It does a wonderful thing. Again, like I said, social media is great, but emails are so powerful as well.
Can I also say that every time you go sell your book at a community event, a
Yes.
fair, a church recital, no matter where you sell that book, get an email from people.
Hmm.
Period. When they purchase the book, get an email. Even if they don't purchase your book, get their email. If they come and talk to you at your table, get their email, right? Because that's an opportunity. Maybe they can't purchase the book right then, but you don't know
Yep.
down the line they might want to purchase it. So don't ever lose an opportunity to get someone's email and communicate with them. And I just wanted to say one other thing, and I won't take up too much more space here, but um, there was I think it was Latanya who mentioned about posting every day and and posting a lot on social media. One of the things that we do with some of our authors is we take their book and we train an AI. Um, we train AI on their book so that then AI can create very key um, social media pieces for them to be able to post. So you're not trying to generate that yourself all the time. It's still your thought leadership. It's your book. AI is just trained on the nuances of your book so that you can pump out a lot more social media content in instead of you trying to sit there and generate it yourself. And so that's just one way you can kind of multiply yourself utilizing AI technology is to take that book, train AI on your book, and then have AI write in your tone, your voice, and you tweak it, of course. You still add your spin on it, but it allows you to put out, 40, 50 pieces of social media content in a really short period of time. What might take you, 4 or 5 days could literally take you 2 hours. So
Mhm.
just another tip about because social media can be overwhelming for artists, and we try to shorten the distance by having AI kind of facilitate that in a very targeted, very highly specialized way by taking what you already wrote and multiplying that out in a million ways. So
Okay, I'm glad you opened that door. We're going to spend another 15 minutes on that AI door. So, everyone on this call should be utilizing AI in some form or some fashion. I cannot stress to you enough, it's not going away. Don't be afraid of it. It will be your friend, but you need to start tiptoe. If you're afraid, just tiptoe into a little bit, ask a little question. But AI will do wonderful things for you. And I told last night, I told everyone, I use AI a lot in different ways, but I realized that if I want AI to know when I first started, I put stuff in AI so AI could know who I was. I did not want it to create anything for me or what they thought I was. I put my information in so AI could learn about me, my do's and my don'ts, and also be able to send stuff. When I ask them a question, it kind of is about based around the things that they know in my personality and the things that I want everyone else to know. So please utilize AI, get to know it. It is friendly. It will take 6 hours away from you doing some of the tedious things. It can be your assistant for the day. It can create your content calendar for social media. Just like Dr. Johnson said, you put a little bit about your book, it will spit things out to you. But the key thing also, try not to use it verbatim. Put some of your personality and some of your thought into it, because when you use it verbatim, it doesn't come off authentic, organic. It just, you can tell it's like, so it's great to use, it's a great tool, but please open up those apps and use AI. I cannot tell you how helpful it was. Anyone else want to chime in about AI? Like I said, I'm an AI person.
I'll say this.
Yeah.
Literally everything you said was amazing. The one thing that I would tell all authors to do is to take your book in PDF form, put it into AI. Like you said, you trained it on who you are. Put it
Mhm.
into AI, and then ask it to develop a writing style profile for the author of this book. And it's going to analyze the book, develop a specific writing profile for that book, and then you take it, you read it, look at it, see if it feels like you. And that way you could take that profile to any other AI and just plug it in, and it will generate the same sort of responses, right?
Mhm.
And I say that so that you're not locked into one AI technology. AI
That's right.
technology changes as fast as the algorithms on the
Mhm.
social media platforms. So
Yes.
that way you have an actual writing profile for yourself that you can tweak along the way, you can add more to, but it allows you to be able to step into any AI software, no matter which one you try, and it give you something that's almost as close to how you write. And then, like she said, finesse it, put your spin on it, and
Mhm.
really bring it home so that it does feel like a human being wrote it and not a robot. But
Mhm.
AI can be used in so many other ways. It could be used as your podcast outreach. It could be used for, if you're trying to pitch yourself to shows. It could be used. Ask it to design a complete marketing plan for your book. Just ask it to do it. It
Mhm.
will come out with a complete strategic plan for marketing your book. Tell it you have a goal to sell 1,000 books over the
Mhm.
next 30 days, and it will
Yep.
come up with a plan for that to happen. The only thing is your implementation at that point.
That's right. That's
And
true.
you don't have to use it to generate content. You could use it to generate marketing plans. Our my business is marketing plans for authors, and we build author platforms from book funnels to whole back end platforms for communities and books. But you could do this yourself. You don't have to. If you have the space and the capacity, you can ask AI to generate the plan and then piece by piece implement it, one thing at a
Mhm.
time. And you'll see that you'll the at worst case, you'll get feedback of what doesn't work. And
Right.
then you just rinse and repeat and try the next thing, right? But but at worst case, you'll have feedback that didn't work for me, or I don't like doing that, or I don't want to pitch this way, or I don't want to be on this type of show, or what you'll get feedback. And so then you could
Mhm.
do the things that really resonate with you and the audience that you want to attract. And the cool thing about AI is it can do all of the market research that a marketing team would take weeks to do. You can do
Mhm.
that in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
And find out who the exact audience of your book is. One thing I've discovered is, as artists, we write for ourselves, And
Mhm.
we're so passionate about what we have to say that we don't always think about who is the actual audience for this piece of content I've written
Right.
in the form of a book. But if your book is already done, you can ask AI, hey, who do you think this is the best match for? Where do
Mhm.
they hang out? Are they
Yep.
on LinkedIn? Are they on Facebook? Where can I find the audience for this book? And give me a strategic plan for engaging with them and selling my book to them. And it will 100% do it.
Mhm.
And you'll spend 30 minutes playing around with that, which would cost you, if you went to a marketing agency,
Mhm.
$40,000,
Yep.
literally. So it's exactly what large publishing houses do. If you go to Random House or Hay House or any of these large publishers, they're using AI to create
Mhm.
these marketing reports for books before the book is even written, so that they know who they should be targeting and who they should be marketing the book to. So I'm sorry, I could talk all day, Kim, about marketing. So I'm not. I'm
That's
gonna shut
good.
up now. I keep
No,
saying
we
I'm gonna
need
shut
to.
up, and then you say something, and then I'm like, I want to help.
No, I mean, because I think one of the things that, authors, we write the book and then it's done and we think it's magically going to sell itself. But the
That's
one piece that's the critical piece is the marketing. That's when the hard work and the test comes in.
yes,
So you did all the writing was easy. The marketing will test your patience. It will make you call out names you never even knew about. That marketing is it will tell you a whole bunch about yourself. So, I just want to be transparent about it. It's a challenge, but if you can get past it and don't fear it, then the success is endless. Your book will continue to sell years and years and years.
Mhm.
Like I said, I first started with a Christian author. Her book still sells till to this day, and that was about we started with that's her book's almost 15 years old, and she still can walk into a church and sell
Yeah.
that same book because we continuously market it and market it and market it. So
That's a
it
good point. People forget that their book is still viable after
yes.
5 years, 10 years. You know, um, I worked on a book with well, I worked with a family, Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote the Four Agreements. I worked with them as a part of their marketing team. And that book is it's like 25 years old, if you've ever heard
Mhm.
of the book. And it still sells to this day. Like, don't give up on your baby just because it's two
Mm-mm.
years old. Please don't give up on you. You put so much energy into that book, and there's somebody out there who is praying for the answer that your book brings to them. So don't give up on it. Keep marketing it, even when you think, oh, I'm gonna write a new book. No, the first book, still write a new book. That's great, but you can package those, like Monica was saying. Bundle books are great.
Yes.
It's two for one. Like, it's an amazing, amazing
Mhm.
thing. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Sometimes authors will leave their babies behind because a new idea sparks and they're like, I'm done with that old book. But no, keep,
Mhm.
if it's still viable, continue to put energy into it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
All right. Thank
good
you.
stuff.
Any other input about marketing before we get to our next speaker? All right.
Hey, yes.
Yes, go ahead.
I went ahead as the gentleman was talking. I created a prompt for people and I posted it in the Chat GPT. You can use Chat GPT or Quinn 3 is another AI or others. But if you don't know, because the key about using AI is creating your prompts so that it can
Yes.
generate what you need. So I went ahead and, as he was talking, I just created a prompt for you all. And you can copy it and you can paste it and make it unique to your business and your niche and your genre to add that so that it can create your plan for you, a marketing and publicity plan, if as a suggestion. So that's something that
Awesome.
may be helpful for you all. For us that are you new to AI, it can be difficult trying to figure out because basically
Mhm.
AI can be your assistant, but you need to know
Right.
how to tell it what to do. And so that prompt could help you, get your juices going to know how to set up your publicity and your marketing plan. And there you go. So hopefully
Okay.
it'll be a help. And those are just two different places I've
Platform.
found has been useful is ChatGPT and Quinn 3.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So to end this talk about marketing, everyone, this is your final marketing test. Drop your book link and your email in the chat. You're marketing yourself. There we go. Everyone's going to find out who you are. Drop your email, your book title, your links in the chat. You never know who's on this call that may see your title, like, let me click on that and buy that book. So that's your marketing challenge before we get to our next speaker. All right. So let's get to our next speaker. Shanice Dotson, are you ready for us?
I'm ready.
All right. She's going to talk to us about getting the bag.
Get
Getting
into the
to the
bag.
bag.
Get into the bag. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shanisha Dotson. I am the founder and CEO of Black Girls Productions and The Brilliant Girl. So with Black Girls Productions, what we do is write plays, produce plays, and films. We're starting off with short films. We get ready to do our first feature length film. Brilliant Girl is my doll company. So what we do is create dolls, coloring books, picture books, paint sheets, puzzles, all those different types of things for children. Our goal with the Brilliant Girl is to bring more representation into the doll and toy industry. So y'all, today I'm going to talk to y'all about getting to the bag. So how do you take one product such as a book and then turn it into multiple forms of income? So my very first book for children is The Adventures of Sugar Mama. So it's a small book, it's a bedtime story. I wrote it because I have a niece who loves a good bedtime story. So I wrote The Adventures of Sugar Mama and I decided to release it into the world. I started to get DMs from parents saying, "Oh, I read this book to my child every single night." So they gave me the idea to, create something else. What else could I package with this book? So I decided to create a superhero doll, my own sugar mama. So every little girl can have their own sugar mama into their household. So I took that one book and then I created a doll. From the doll, I went on to create Sugar Mama Saves Christmas and the Sugar Mama puzzles, the Sugar Mama aprons, and we started to do animation for the book. So again, we took that one book, we created a doll, puzzles, coloring books, and then animation. So a lot of times when people write books, they never think about what else can I make from this book? What else can I create from this book? Because usually as authors, we're just thinking about selling this book, getting this book out into the world, marketing this book, but never think about how can I take this one source and turn that into multiple streams of income. So with my books, the next thing we're going to do is probably create some type of journals for little kids, something with positive affirmations, something they can use, from day to day, especially with school starting, to talk about their different feelings. So again, that'd be another stream of income. So when we think about books, we usually think about nonfiction versus fiction. When you think about nonfiction books, it's so many different ways you can have multiple streams of income from a nonfiction book. Does anybody in here write nonfiction? Any nonfiction authors? All right. So who writes fiction? Any fiction authors? Any children book authors? All right. I see fiction in the comments. Anybody else? All right. So when we think about fiction books, I tell everybody get a piece of paper and draw a circle in the inside of that piece of paper. When you draw that circle, I want you to write your book title in it. Once you have that book title, I want you to draw some lines outside of that circle. So what we are going to do is just brainstorm. I see nonfiction memoir. All right. So what we're going to do is brainstorm different ways we can turn our book into multiple forms of income. When you finish, drop it in the chat. Let me know you finished. So while you're working on that, I'll start with mine. So I took the Adventures of Sugar Mama. I drew a line and then I made a Sugar Mama doll. I drew another line because what else could I do with this doll? And that's when we can make aprons, puzzles, coloring books, doll clothes. We could have even designed a line of cookies because with the Sugar Mama doll, that's what gives her superhero powers is chocolate chip cookies. So we could have did a cookie line. I drew another line, and with that I did film. So we can do animation. The second book in her series is Sugar Mama Saves Christmas. So with that, if I'm brainstorming, we could have did like Christmas themed wrapping paper with Sugar Mama on it. We can also do like birthday themed items for Sugar Mama. Since the doll is about positive affirmations, being positive, believing in yourself, we could have also do positive affirmation cards for kids. And again, when you finish, let me know. And also with mine, I have a line for the puzzles. We can also do a puzzle for each character. It could be another superhero or a villain. So in the Adventures of Sugar Mama, she fights monsters. So we can create a line of puzzles that deals with monsters and then turn them into some type of positive character. All right. If you finish, let me know. I want to know who wants to share. If you want to share, raise your hand or drop it in the comments. Again, if you'd like to share, just raise your hand. So when I think about nonfiction books, self-help books, memoirs, when we think about those type of books, what can we do to turn those into multiple streams of income? So the first thing I think about is creating a journal or a workbook that can go along with your book. So with that, you can pitch that and use it at different conferences. women's conferences, any type of author events, or any type of events that will focus in on your book. And when we think about the workbooks and the journals, there's a lot of sites that you can use, such as Fiverr. You can sell them on different platforms, or you can attach them with the book. But again, that's another stream of income. I caught just a little bit of the last presentation and you guys talked about podcasts. That's another thing you can do too, is turn your book into some type of podcast. For example, if your book deals with domestic violence, mental health awareness, entrepreneurship, or talking about any type of trials and tribulations that you've been through, you can package that all and then turn it into a podcast and then bring on guests who fall within your theme. For example, it can be counselors, it can be people who have overcome different things, but you can package that all together as far as another stream of income. Because with podcasts, you can charge for ads and people could promote their products on your show too. You can also create a journal. People love to write in journals. So you can package the books with journals, you can sell them with the book, or it's something that you can do separately. Another thing is too, you can also turn it into a stage play. Stage plays can make you a lot of money. Get you some actors together, get a good type script. When I first started doing plays, I was my only vendor. So I had t-shirts, I had books, I had food, and they would sell out every single time. So you can also create the show and then market and sell your own products. Merchandise. You can create t-shirts, cups, pens, notebooks, again, and have all those things available if you go out and do a workshop at a conference or create your own plays or films or things like that. So with nonfiction and self-help memoir type books, those are the first things that come to mind. If you're doing fiction, another thing is too, is very similar. You can also do a book to film. You can also create merchandise, stage plays, movies, animation. A lot of times people say, well, I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to get started. I always tell people to look at sites like Fiverr, because Fiverr is full of contractors. You have to weed through the good, weed through them to find the good ones, but it's full of contractors. A lot of my graphics, as far as my book designs, my puzzles, I use Fiverr a lot. And I just take my time and go through and see who has the type of style that I like, that I think will look good as far as my puzzles and different things like that. With dolls and books and puzzles, another good site is Alibaba, and that's out of China. But you can order things in bulk and like it's super cheap. So you may use a self-publisher, in the US. They may charge you $4, $6, $7, $8 per book. But if you can find a good site off of Alibaba, it may be like $2 a book, but you may have to order 3,000 copies. But if you can sell them, you can make more of a profit because your overhead cost is lower. Upwork, if you're looking for contractors, that's another site that you can use, Upwork. But again, do interviews and find a person that'll do the best job for you. I see somebody said science fiction. Science fiction, it's a lot of different things you can do with that too. As far as like going to conferences and things. When I think of science fiction, I automatically think of like movies and animation and things like that too. And it's a big science fiction community. So also look at things as like cups and t-shirts. And I know they have like huge conferences every year. So that'd be a good place to network. Yeah, I'm trying to get in and read the comments. Here we go. And this is a good one. Arthur Candy said, my collaborator is doing an audio novel. And that's good too. Audiobooks. Audiobooks are always good. Again, another stream of income. For my romantic fiction, I put journal, bookmarks, candles, pens, heart-shaped soap, stage plays. That is great. I was watching a movie last night, which was like a romantic fiction. One thing they did was like for Valentine's Day, they turned chocolate into like high-end purses. And people love that. So with romantic fiction, I will push hard in like the month of like February, since that's the month of love or day of love. For science fiction, we're doing playing cards, bookmarks, posters. I will also do t-shirts too. T-shirts. And y'all, lately with selling stuff, I've been finding a lot of success on Threads. So if you use Threads, look out there and see what's going on with Threads. Like I'll put a call out, hey, do you know of any good graphic designers? And a gang of people will hit me up. People are looking for people to do the podcast shows. People are looking for authors for their independent bookstores. So don't sleep on Threads. They have a lot of people out there that's looking for, authors like us. And again, it's another way to get another stream of income. And as authors, we're always looking for different ways to sell our books. So something I stumbled across maybe last year, the year before last. Look at a lot of the nonprofits. Like, for example, I did 2 book events in New York last year or the year before last. And with these book events, you're guaranteed at least 20 books being sold. So with the nonprofits, they have a pocket of money, and they'll pay you, hey, come out, just sign your books, and you're guaranteed to sell 20 because they're going to automatically pay you for 20. And then you can sell, whatever else that you sell. The second one, it was automatically a guaranteed 20 books sold, plus they paid for some of your flight and some of your hotel. So also look into the nonprofits, because what you can do is pair that up and then find, an independent store or either a big box store and do a book signing there on Friday, do the other book signing on a Saturday, and it's guaranteed income. And then build those relationships up. So when you do create other products or other books, those people reach back out to you. Hey, would you be willing to come back for the next year? And that's a good way to sell your books and market your other products. My sister is creating plushies for my fantasy paranormal. And that's good too, because I believe in pairing that product if you're doing like fiction with the doll or a plushie, because those do well. And children love to have some type of character that they can have in their household too. So that's good too. Let me see, what else can we do? So we talked about online books. Another source of income, guys, is think about the online courses. I know lately people have been talking about like Substack and school. So what you'll do is create a course based around whatever topic that you like to talk about. You can talk about books, you can talk about marketing, you can talk about distribution, just whatever it is that you like, you can talk about those in those type of online courses. So what you can do is charge people like a small fee or whatever you feel you want your fee to be. Charge them that fee and start to build up their online course and the amount of people that follow you. And these could be like dedicated readers. So like we talked about email lists, you can also build those up into online courses, and then you have those emailed forever. So whenever you get ready to release another book, you can just reach out to that course or that group of people that follow you. Hey, I got another book coming out, part 2, and you guys can do pre-orders. Another thing too is paid webinars. Get people to come on and talk to you or ask you questions. A lot of times people reach out to me for help on writing books. How do I get started? Or how do I make a doll? And, that can be a consultation fee because it takes up some of your time. So these are all just different ways to take that one product and then turn it into multiple streams of income. Another option is like a masterclass. So with a masterclass, you can get you and some people who work in your field, or you can just teach a class on whatever your specialty is. If you're writing about fantasy, paranormal, you can talk about that. If you want to talk about romantic books, a romantic comedy, or science fiction, or a children's book, and do a master class on that. Just teach people how to write the book, how to sell the book, how to market the book, and how to get different streams from just that one book. Another thing is too, depending on what type of book you got. I know lately people have been talking about It's like the mini recordings. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Um, it's skipping me right now, but it's a shorter form of like film. But when you think about it, you can also do that with your book. You can break it up into different chapters and kind of sell them individually, almost like telling or creating a movie with your book, just doing it in pieces. I know a lot of times people record them right from their phones. And again, that's another source of income because you can also use your own website or use something like YouTube or find a streaming platform and upload that content there. And again, that's another form of income. So, any questions right now? I'm looking for subside to make my series into a movie or TV. So you say you're looking for a way to make your series into a movie, or I'm looking for someone to make my series into a movie or a TV. Okay. So are you on Facebook? If so, I would say join some of those groups. I'm on all platforms. That's excellent. Join some of those groups and put a call out to see if it's anyone that's available that can turn your script into a screenplay or a TV pilot. Because there's a lot of groups out there, like independent producers that's looking for content. Is writers on there, and that's what they do. They turn books, manuscripts into screenplays. Have them send you a sample of their work to see if you like it. Talk to them, get the cost, and then you'll have that screenplay or TV pilot. It's 10 books long, so it's not complete yet. Yeah, so whenever you complete it, just do that. Put a call out. Also, look on those sites like Fiverr and see who can turn that manuscript into a screenplay. I always tell everybody, do your research because there's a lot of people out there who can promise to do some things and then they can't deliver. And there's a lot of good people out there too. So just always do your research. But yeah, put a call out there and see who writes like you want them to write and who can tell your story how you want it to be told. And direct wholesale is becoming popular. Yeah, because it's always good when you can sell your books in bulk. I always tell people to look at the school system too. So if you write a book that can be used in like an elementary school or a primary school, if you can get with the principal and talk to them or who's ever in charge of books and go on and do a presentation, they can send out papers to everybody that's in that grade, the whole third through fifth grade. And that'll be a lot of book sales. And if it's the kids that's not available to buy books that want them, you can possibly donate them to the school too. But look into that. That's another way to get bulk sales. Find a school, do presentations. Dr. Tiffany said, yes, even after school programs. I just signed a contract with my local school system. Excellent. Yeah, and a lot of times people do not think about the school system. And when you think about it, it's limitless. It's so many different schools in the world, after schools programs, the smaller schools that's just getting started. It's a lot out there. You just got to do your homework, reach out to them. Look at your local bookstores too. It's always been easier for me to get into the independent bookstores. So look at those too. Reach out to them, let them know, hey, I have this book. Is it okay if I could come out and do a book signing at your store? And then if you do have other products, ask him, can I sell my t-shirts too? Can I sell my dolls? Like when I get ready to do an event, that's one thing I ask, is it okay for me to bring my other products? And I haven't been told no yet. And it's weird, like sometimes I'll do a book event, but I'll bring my dolls and my puzzles and coloring books, and those will sell out before my books do. But then when I do a doll event and that's focused on the doll, I sell out all of my books. So that's why I say it's always important to make sure that you have, other products that you can sell with your book. Because you never know what people are looking for. And it's odd that it's always in the opposite order. But that's why I always say be prepared. Some independent bookstores do a consignment deal with authors, and that's true. So sometimes with consignment, what it is they may say, hey, send us 1 copy of your book to review. And if they like it, they may be like, hey, could you send us 8 copies of your book? And we'll pay you quarterly or monthly when your book sells. Sometimes with consignment, some people have been charging fees. We'll stock your book in our store on consignment and you pay like a $25 flat rate fee, and we'll do a 70-30 split, or you pay the fee and you'll get 100% of your sales. So read up on the consignment, see what the guidelines are. I have a nearby bookstore who purchased 2 of my titles. She's opening in March. Good. Very good. And again, like I said, y'all, if y'all on Threads, look at Threads. I've seen quite a few posts about people starting bookstores and they're looking for authors' books to carry. Anybody has a book and you want to talk about ways to kind of flush out what else can you do with the book? If you do, drop it in the comments and we'll all work on it together. Author Candy, where is the bookstore that's opening in March? What city and state? Netherlands, Texas. All right. And I did a book signing for one in Beaumont. Very good. You on top of it, Author Candy. How did your book signing go in Beaumont? Very good. One thing when you do book signings too, take pictures. When I first started doing book signing, I was not taking pictures. Take pictures of the book signing. I don't care if you don't sell any book. I don't care if you sell out. Take pictures and post them. And when you post them, put the link in there too. Let people know if you couldn't make it out to support me, here's my link. You can still buy my book. Excellent. She said, all my pictures are on my website. Very good. Put them on social media too. Let people know you're out there putting in work. Excellent. There are linked to it. All right. Very good.
I want to sound like multitasking. I'm in the area, but I can't, right now. But I did thank you for this information. I did have a quick question. So I'm preparing. I made debut. I just finished an anthology with mothers, but I'm a debut solo author for a children's book that's coming out, and so I'm working with at my local school system. It's a lot of moving parts because I work full time. Have part-time jobs, still have a family, so it's a lot. But I'm trying to prepare for the book lunch and just trying to get ideas. I've got to meet with the library, but just getting ideas of kind of setups for that for a children's book. Like I know I probably need a nice tablecloth and just other ideas of not doing too much, but being very prepared, being that this will be my first public book lunch for the book.
All right. So I would say make sure you have something eye-catching that'll bring the children to the table or the parents to the table. Maybe like a bright tablecloth. Coloring sheets. See if you can create a coloring sheet for your book that can go along with it. And you can get those, you can print them out yourself or go to like FedEx and print them out. They always have some type of discount code. Sign-in sheet. Like they said, even if they don't want to buy a book, you got the email. They may not be able to buy a book that day, but they may be able to get one later on. If you're able to create like later on down the line, if you want to do a plushie or do a doll or a puzzle or a coloring book, have that too. Because people like bundles. If people feel like, hey, I'm getting a deal, they'll be more likely to buy. A lot of promotion. Do a press release. See if you can reach out to like your local newspapers. Hey, I'm having a book signing this day. I'm a debut author. It's a children's book that's suitable for kids between the ages of 4 and 8. With the library, see if you can put up flyers and things beforehand so people will know, hey, I'm having this book signing. Touch on your local community. It can be your church group of sorority. It can be other teachers, other schools. Ask them, hey, can I post up this flyer? I'm having this book signing. And again, that's just different ways to pull people in. And I like social media because it's free. I mean, we can pay for ads and things, but it's free. So I will continually post. I will make my screensaver, my picture, everything will be centered around that book event to try to draw people into it. But yeah, with kids, they like candy, they like balloons, so things like that to kind of pull them in.
Thank you. And one other quick question, if I can. Thank you so much. A lot of that my
Welcome.
strategist already told me as well, so it's just confirmation. But also, so with the local Head Start, so I'm working with the local Head Start. Their funding is different. They want me to
Mhm.
meet with 4 pre-K classes, total of 80 students, but their
Mhm.
funding is low. So they're asking me what's my cost. And it's different from the school system because the school system has nice budgets for things. And even though I've created a curriculum that aligns with their standards, they're
Mhm.
still kind of trying to. So they asked, would I come and do a free session with a class so they can
Mhm.
see? And I asked if I could do a free session with the team leaders and like
Mhm.
they just act as the kids. Because
Mhm.
what I don't want to do is I don't want to sell myself short, but it's not
Yes.
about the money. So the cost of my book just is like $4 my cost, but
Mhm.
the marketing cost that my publisher is like 17. So my
Mhm.
thing was to either offer um rather than a presentation fee for me, offer
Mhm.
bundles for them that's almost at my cost. Because the whole thing is about visibility with the age group. I mean, they're 4-year-olds, and their families, and they're typically lower income families. So I'm not trying to, anyway.
Mhm.
So I just any suggestions on that as far as because we're still working through that. Whereas the school system, they're paying me a set price to come present once a week for the next
Mhm.
16 weeks, and it's beautiful. But this is a different budget, different
Mhm.
entity, and just want some advice on that as well.
Okay. So if I heard you correctly, the school system has a nice budget, but with the Head Start, the budget is a little bit different. It's a little bit lower, correct? So
It's
you want
correct.
advice on as far as like presenting or
I
what would
don't
be
know if I should be more focused on getting books purchased, and my presentation comes with that, and
Mhm.
the book costs be a lot less than what it is so that the kids can have it.
O-
Or charging a presentation fee, and from that fee providing, because I'm doing a donation drive as well right now,
Okay.
but it's not quickly catching. More people are buying the book for themselves, pre-orders,
Mhm.
because the book hasn't even released, but they're
Mhm.
doing more pre-orders than they're doing donation orders.
Okay.
So I have enough for one book per class, so I could
Mhm.
go present, but I really would love for the kids to have the book to take home.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
don't know which should I be more focused on, getting book orders and just kind of waiving my fee, or get a fee and then from that fee I allocate so many books.
Listen to you, it sounds like your heart is making sure the kids have the book. So if that's the case, I would go the presentation route. Charge that fee for that presentation, and then make sure the kids have the books. Because to me, that just sounds like where your heart is. Just making sure they all will be able to get it. And then with that fee, I know you said the budget is not as high, but make sure you're getting what you want out of that fee. Even if you're comfortable, even if it means like just breaking even on the books that you're giving out, but just make sure you're comfortable with whatever that fee is. And then okay, in my heart, all the kids will have the book because that's what seems like that's what's important to you, making sure everybody has the book.
In that particular setting. And this will be
Mhm.
an open, because what she explained was that the budget is already set, as you know. So then
Mhm.
if I could build that partnership, they can
Yep.
possibly add me into the next year budget. So I'm kind of
Yep.
sowing seed, but not wanting
Mhm.
to sell myself short too. Because I'm
Gotcha.
new with this.
Gotcha. But that sounds good because again, it's about building relationships. because they may not have the budget that you want this year, but next year they'll remember, hey, Dr. Tiffany came, she showed up for us, she did this awesome presentation, and every kid got to get a book. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to somebody in the room. I'm
Okay.
fine. Thank you for
Okay.
that. I really
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. You're welcome. All right. Somebody said, I always have a bucket. That's Arthur Candy, a bucket of candy for the kids. C.F. Jackson, I have a client who will request for those who can't afford his fee to purchase his book. Yeah, Dr. Tiffany. All right. Anyone else? Any other questions? Anybody else want to talk through a book? Any ideas? I tell everybody we can work through them together, put our resources together. So everybody succeed in their writing careers and their book goals. Any other children book authors? Phoebe says stickers that relate to your books are also nice takeaway. Yes, they are. I had stickers when I went to Germany. They went before my books did. That's true. Children do love stickers. The Candace says she's going to write one soon. The adults got my stickers too. Yeah, people do love stickers. Paula says bookmarks are great with the characters of the book. Yes, they are. People love things that they'll be able to take with them. And with bookmarks too, that's also another way to market your books because you can put your information on there. Website, social media. And the same thing with bookmarks. Look for places where you can get them in bulk. So you can pay like pennies for them. But then you'll have them forever to take every type of book signing you do. You'll have that piece of marketing to carry along with you. You may see people who don't read or said, I'm not interested right now. Give them a bookmark. C.F. Jackson said, do a raffle to capture names and email easily. People love winning. That's true. We love winning in every aspect of our lives. Outsourcing for those help other tiny businesses too. Support your small local businesses. They can use our help too. We can help each other. Any other ideas to help with her children's book? It's her first book, her debut. Anything else that you guys can think of? Also posters too. If you can find someone to print you out some cheap posters with your book cover on them, kids like that too. Miriam said a cartoon character. Dee Dee said he can create them on Canva. Arthur Candy, little cards with the characters on them. Yeah, Canva is good too. I caught the very end of the marketing presentation with the authors. Canva has AI too. Just put in there what you want. Hey, I want to create a character for this book. And they'll give you quite a few options to choose from. Then you can tweak it to have it looks like you want it to look. So yeah, don't sleep on Canva AI. I said me and Canva are best friends. I like Canva too. CF Jackson, capture a child or two reading from your book to gain social proof. Yes, I always tell people take pictures. If the parents are there, I'll ask, is it okay if I take pictures? If not, I'll take them and just won't show the children's face. I may get a picture from behind them. And they said video footage. Another thing is too, depending on what your book is about, the character. If you can have someone to dress up as that character. Like with the Sugar Mama, I had some people that I went to high school with many, many, many years ago. One of their daughters dressed up as Sugar Mama for show and tell. And she had the book. I was like, oh, that's cute. But yeah, if you can get somebody to dress up as that character, kids love that too. All right, y'all. Any other ideas to help with that first debut book? Think about all the times when we wrote our very first book, just getting started. It's I like Black PR too. They'll send out a press release to a gazillion like media platforms. And every now and then they'll run a sale for like $100 off, $75 off, but they will blast your stuff out to everybody. A lot of times they've sent posts out for me and they went viral. And that's got me picked up into like the Black Enterprise and things like that. So look into them too, blackpr.com. If you have anybody that's local or you familiar with that do like e-blast services to the media, that's good too. Because it's going to bring eyes on your book, on your website, on your book signing, whatever events that you have going on. They're saying do a local podcast. Yeah, these are all very good things to do. All right. Anybody else have a book or anything they want to talk about as far as turning that into multiple forms of income or just working through your first event or anything that can help you out as far as like book sales? Again, we talked about resources and site, Fiverr, Canva, incorporating AI, Upwork, Alibaba, bulk order things from China. That could be plushies, dolls, puzzles, children books. They saying create a YouTube channel. And that's good too, especially if you're going to have some type of company that focuses strictly on your books. And if you want to do animation later on. Because again, that give you access to like millions of people. So the characters can break off into their own books of stories. And that's true, the spinoffs, the series. All right. Anything else as far as the children's book? Oh, Dr. Kim said lesson plans for the teachers since the kids will be excited about reading the book. Excellent. Another thing is too is short plays. for the kids. Arthur Candy said puppets, hand puppets. I have a kid's short play, Dog, Cat, and the Red Bird. And so it got published, and I'll get emails from all these different schools. Oh, we performed this play. So yeah, short plays are good too. Especially if it has some type of message that the school system can use as far as like self-esteem, the jitters of being your first day of school, anything dealing with emotions, things like that. They'll love that. All right. Anything else, guys? She said coupons for the parents. That's good. All right. I know my time is getting ready to wind down. Let me see how much time I got left, guys. Not much.
Thank you again. I appreciate
You are
everyone's
welcome.
input. Thank you.
You are welcome. And I pray that your event is successful and you get everything out of it that you want. All right. Well, again, I'm Shanisha Dotson. If y'all are on social media or Instagram, y'all can find me at Black Girls 12. That's BLKGRRLZ 12. I'll drop it in the chat real quick. And for my website with my dolls, my books, puzzles, it's www.thebrilliantgirl.com. If y'all have any other questions, y'all can send me a DM or an email. I'll be happy to help.
All right. Any questions before she go? Any questions? All right. That was awesome. She just Candy said she just followed. Awesome.
I'm gonna follow you back, Candy.
So Denise, I have a question. So one of your your streams of income is the play. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Like, how has that been welcome into the community? What made you develop that and all that process?
Yeah, so I started writing in high school. I used to
Mhm.
compete in like competitive theater. Went on to college, I started working in the theater department. So
Mhm.
one day I said, because I've been writing for a long time. I said I wanted to see my words come to life. So that's when I founded Black Girls Productions. So I started writing plays, directing plays, and touring. And I always
Oh.
tell people, follow your dreams. Let me tell you, when I first started, that's why I say sometimes people say they can deliver things that they can't. When I first started, I had a show in Virginia and Delaware. I had 7 people at each show. And I paid for my cast, everybody to fly out, hotels, fee, 7 people at both shows. But I knew that was my God-given purpose, so I kept going. My next show, I started to sell out everywhere because I kept pushing. So when you
Mhm.
started something new, you may not get those big results right at the beginning, but keep pushing. So we started that company in 2012 and we still rocking. When COVID hit, we took a break because we really wasn't having like in-person events and things like that.
Mhm.
So probably 2 years ago, I started back having plays. I'm in California now. So having plays and my Love Letters to the Black Man event. This year
Oh,
we're
nice.
doing Love Letters to Black Women. So we got that going. So we opened up submissions for that in February. But that's Black Girls Productions and our shows.
Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. So, are you traveling with the plays, or is this you're in California?
So right now we're just local in California because right now
Oh,
we're working on films too. So we'll
oh,
fly and
nice.
shoot the films and then come back. Like our plays and love letters events right now is just in California, but we've also had the love letters in Houston too. So we may
Oh,
start
cool.
taking that around.
Oh, nice, nice. So I know, well, I think us connected, you sent me the book about Sugar Mama, and that's all I talked about for like the whole summer. I was telling her, you gotta read Sugar Mama. They was like, what are you talking about? So I would show everybody the book. So I fell in
Oh,
love with Sugar Mama the first time you sent it
oh,
to me.
sugar
But
mama.
I wanted to say, how has it been with uh having the book and the doll? Can you talk to us about that effect, especially when you're out at different events and have both? What's the reaction to everyone with that?
So people love it. And that's why I was
Mhm,
saying, like, it's interesting. Like, I can do a book event, but I'll be like, can I bring other products? And they always say yes. So I can do a book
mhm,
event and everybody there is authors, but then I'll be the only one there with dolls, books, puzzles,
mhm,
coloring books, and that's what'll sell out. And then it's the
mhm,
opposite. I'll do an event that's strictly about dolls, and I ask, hey, can I bring my other stuff? They'll be like, yes. And then all the other stuff sell out. All the books
mhm,
sell out. All the puzzles sell out. And that's why I say
mhm,
it's important if you can to, do a puzzle, do a coloring book, have a plushie or a doll or something, because you just never know what people will be interested in purchasing at the events.
yeah. So I know everyone said, "Oh my goodness, she has all this stuff." Can you give us like a little example of the price points? Because what you're saying, I know because I've I've done a table. It's not
Hmm.
that expensive, but
Hmm.
it makes your table come alive.
Yes,
So can
yes.
you talk a little bit about that and maybe some ideas of vendors possibly can use?
Yes, yes. So I use Alibaba. So that's a site
Hmm.
where you can get everything done in China. So I use Alibaba and then I will order everything in bulk. Like, for example,
Hmm.
I have one product and people be like, you selling that product for too cheap. You need to take that price up, take that price up. And I'm thinking where I got the price at is good. Because even with this, I'm making 4 times what I purchased it for because I purchased it in bulk. So that's why I
Hmm.
did it because I want things to be affordable. People
Hmm.
can have a good quality product that's affordable. I'm still making money off of it. Could I make more? Yes, but I'm comfortable with it being at that price point. So a lot of
Hmm.
times, if I can get things done overseas, I would do that and then have it shipped there.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions? All right. But thank you so much for sharing and coming out and joining us today. Those when you did your circle and you kept going, I was like, oh my goodness, she keep going, she keep going, all those. But they were really, really awesome, and I like that you took one thing, started another circle, and you kept going and going, and people don't realize those streams of income are so important. And like I said, when you're out and about at different events, having multiple things at the table brings your table alive, and you'll be surprised. Like you said, you'll be surprised. You'll be there for a book and everything else sells out. So,
Yes.
yep, yep. So if anyone's in California, make sure when she posts about her play, you better be there.
Tell them y'all better pull up, come support.
Anything coming out soon, far as the plays or books?
So right now I opened up the call February the 1st for my Love Letters to Black Women series. So we're gonna do a
Oh,
virtual event. If you write, whether it be a monologue or short play, some type of creative piece, submit it because we're gonna do a small honorarium for the writers and for the people who will be reading the different selected pieces. So that opens up February the 1st.
okay. Dr. Johnson said, what part of California?
I'm in Burbank, Burbank, California.
Okay. Any more books coming out?
So right now we're working on films.
Okay, this feels
We got a
okay.
couple of projects this year. Somebody
Okay,
said I'm in Burbank.
that's Dr. Johnson. He said he's in Burbank. All right, so we making connections already.
Yes.
Awesome. But yes, we look forward to that. Keep us posted, and
Well,
maybe I might have to plan a vacation
yes.
to, to come
He said
out
I'm
there.
here downtown Burbank. I'm off of Riverside, across from the International School. So we are right down the street from each other.
Oh wow,
Mm-hmm.
nice,
Mm-hmm.
nice, nice. All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you again.
Are welcome.
All right, so we are moving on our agenda. We are supposed to be taking a virtual lunch break and networking. So what I want to do for this little time that we have before um our next speaker, Paula Banks, comes up is I want if anyone has anything to share, any books coming out, any events coming up, please take time to share those with us so we can support. Anyone want to come off mute and share any book signings coming up in February and March, any events coming up? Are you releasing a book? Let us know. Y'all gonna make me go back to school and be a teacher and call out names because I know a couple people about to do. I know one person about to do an event on Sunday because we actually booked it. So, anyone? All right, y'all quiet this morning. Oh, Arthur Candy has 2 books, Perfect Human Project and Xanian and Shaylin. Okay. Did I say that right? All right. So no one wants to talk about their upcoming, so let me do a challenge. Oh, wait a minute. Arthur Casey has an event March 1st in Dayton, Texas at Jones Library. And CF Jackson said her mom just came out with a book. What's the name of that book, CF Jackson? Tell us about that book. What's the name of her book?
The name of it is The Woman I Am, Strings of Truth. And she's an artist. She plays acoustic guitar and she also sings folk blues. So she took
Oh,
songs, like 10 of her songs that she wrote and produced herself, and pretty much gave the backstory of how the book came about, or how the song came about. So it gave people the opportunity to learn who she is by telling her
nice.
backstory and at the same time about the song. So she was really excited. This is something new. She's done CDs, but she was overjoyed by the book. So for her to
Mhm.
be at this age and she was getting it in, I was impressed with my mom. She was getting it in. She already got her book signing already. And she's like, "You already got a book already?" So yeah, before the book came out, she's already getting promotion going on. So my mom, she
That's
hustling
the
this thing.
that's what you got to do before it even print. Start promoting now. She
Yeah,
doing it right. She doing it
yeah.
right.
So she came up with number one in 2 categories,
Oh,
and she
nice.
last she lasted 4 days in new releases in her category to number one. So
Awesome.
she did pretty good. I'm impressed with my mom. I said, "Go ahead, mother."
That is awesome.
Thanks for them share.
Um,
Can I jump in?
yes.
Hi, my name is Rashida Samara. I will be doing my first book signing tomorrow in Philly. My book is called Born into Chaos. It talks about a young lady that went through a lot of trauma and went through the healing process. And also, I just finished my book, Amira, Daughter of Storm and Shadow, which is a mythical African fantasy book
Nice.
about a young lady that lost her family. Well, they her family was destroyed, the kingdom was destroyed, but just her going through grief, trying to reclaim her own power and getting her kingdom back. So that will be coming out March the 20th.
Oh, wow. Busy, busy, busy. Nice.
Yeah, now I need
All
a break. My brain hurts.
right. You're right.
That was one of the hardest ones, doing the research and stuff like that, trying to make it
Mhm.
authentic. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that can be that. Yeah, research can be a very brain-breaking situation, especially when you're trying to get to that one point, like, oh, I want this one piece, I gotta find it. So yes, awesome. So tomorrow with your book signing, you ready for that? You ready to talk to the 50 million people that come into the door and say, who are you again?
I'm ready, but I'm not ready, but I'll be there. I'm there.
So just to give a little bit about Rashida, we actually in Philadelphia we do this thing called Authors in the Aisles where we connect with our local supermarket, which is a independently owned ShopRite, and we actually have authors go to the supermarkets and set up a table and all that great stuff and sell their books to the shoppers that come in. And usually, well, not usually, always is a great experience. One where usually in a market that's in a community, and they are just so excited to see a Black author. And most of the shoppers come up, they want to have a conversation, they want to know about your book. And they buy the books, and it's really been a great experience for us, and we're really super excited to go into the new year with that concept. We're hoping to expand in some other states with that concept. We're looking at working with Kroger's, and we're looking at working with what's the other one? Wegmans as well, because they do similar events. We're just trying to pitch them on having authors of color to come in to do some book signings. But the one here in the Philadelphia area, we've been doing it, and it's been a really, really great experience working with that company. So if you have a grocery store in your area, you need to go to the supermarket and talk with them. Kroger's owns a lot of different branches, different names. They do have an opportunity where they do it's called pop-ups. They do allow you to do a pop-up and sell your book. I know Wegmans does it as well. They will allow you to do a pop-up to sell your book. The key thing with that, make sure, of course, people will buy your book in cash, but they want to also make sure you have some type of electronic way to take payments. It could be Square on your phone. It could be the little Square piece. It could be the machine. But make sure when you're out, you have some type of electronic piece for people to pay you. I am one of those people that have $20 in my wallet just for emergencies, but I will tap my card all over the place because most of the stuff comes to my phone when I'm tapped in anyway. So when you're out and about, make sure you have those things. I know with what is it? Venmo, you can put the QR on a piece of paper, make some signage. Cash App the same way. People do Cash App. What's the other one? Apple Pay. So make sure you have all those things. You like either post it on a signage, so people can pay you electronically, because that's where it's going nowadays. But again, if you have the local markets, talk to the manager, reach out to them and see if you can sell your book. And most of them will say yes. Black History Month is coming up. They're looking for things to bring people in the stores. We had one other author. He went to Grocery Outlet here. I think that's a chain in some states. He sold his book there. So that's another way of selling your books. Check out your local supermarket. They actually love to support business pop-ups. Anybody else have an event coming up in February, March, April? Is everyone doing some type of event for Black History, either at an event, going to a participating in an event, or you host an event? Does everyone have some type of event that they're doing for Black History Month? Anybody want to share? And if you don't have one, let's try to figure out what can you do to sell your book at Black History Month. Candy says she has 2 in San Antonio. This is the time. Everyone's looking for authors for Black History Month. Schools, churches, bookstores, women organizations, nonprofit organizations, daycares. Marcella, yes, there we go.
Hi there. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I do have an event. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. So I have an event at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. It'll be an author event, but I'm a new independent author. My publishers fell through, so now I'm a new publisher as well. But in full transparency, I woke up this morning, went on Facebook, stumbled upon this Zoom call, and I'm so glad I did. The information has been so insightful and informative. And I have another event I have to go to, but I couldn't break away from the Zoom call. So I pulled over just to get to share that with you all, but also maybe ask y'all some advice, because as a new author, this world is, I mean, it's uncharted territory for me. So I'm just finding different book events, and I stumbled upon a book event in July in Atlanta, the National Book Club Conference. And apparently they've been operating for over 20 years, and I just wanted to sell books. And I inquired about being an exhibitor, and he asked me to become a featured author. And I mean, Kimberly Lawson Roby's the authors, because what he said is that they like to celebrate new independent authors. So I'll be honest, I'm struggling. I think it's my first time in my life I've ever struggled with imposter syndrome. So any advice y'all have for me? And I'm so sorry. I mean, you may be talking about speaking engagements on your agenda and have to drop off, but this community, this call, y'all have blessed me beyond measure. So I wanted to share that with you, and I'm so glad that you allowed me to join today.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, so let's help Marcella out. She got one event in Birmingham coming up, and she got a big one in Atlanta. Any suggestions? Candy, you want to go? Candy, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I did my biggest event ever. I did New Orleans last year.
Oh,
I
okay.
did the Black Ink Book Festival,
Yep.
but I had done little ones leading up to that event. And imposter syndrome is real. You're in your head, you're wondering if you're good enough, if you compare it to don't compare yourself to other people. Be who you are. Be who you were made to be. That's it. You know that you're good enough. If you applied for that and you were accepted, that means you're good enough. You've done more than enough to get to that place. Believe in that. Believe that God placed you in that place and that you're meant to be there. Somebody's life will be impacted because you're there, because they had that conversation with you. They opened that door with you. I found that as I go to these events, that more than I don't know if it's just who I am, but people pour out to me in a way that I'm just like, what am I supposed to do with this? I am not a licensed therapist, but you're telling me your whole life story because I wrote books that were related to it, and now you're opening up to me. But people are comfortable because you were there, because of your spirit, because of your presence. So believe that God put you in that place. I didn't rebuke that imposter syndrome, that disbelief, that self-deprecation, that self-doubt. Tell it going on about your business, sir, because I don't need you here today. I do it all the time when I have an event. That morning of, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be in this mindset. I'm not going to allow this to control me, because if I do, I won't be fulfilling my purpose.
Yeah.
I won't be fulfilling my call. And God has a specific purpose and call for me. And I'm going to stand on that 24/7, no matter what is brought against me.
Thank
And
you.
stand in that place.
Thank you for that. And I guess I should mention the name of my book is called The Golden. It's my memoir told through the lens of golf. I love golf. I suffered a stroke on a golf course last year. And in Mulligan, in golf, there's this thing called a mulligan, a second chance. So it's kind of like my second chance as a stroke survivor to tell my story now while I'm alive. So the book is called The Golden Mulligan and the Stroke That Changed the Game. And it's, I put the link in there, but my pen name is Stella Renee. But I appreciate that those words of encouragement that you touched on everything I've been dealing with. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Just, you got this. Believe that. You do.
Yeah.
And I'll be looking to, I pay attention to all the events. Even if I'm not able to be there, I'm always looking at them online. So I'll be looking for your name. I'll be
Thank
looking
you
for
so
you.
much.
And I'll be sending some people in your direction. I got people
Thank you.
in that area. So I'll definitely send them
Yes.
to you.
Thank you. And I'll be updating the website today with the, this is on their website. So I'm putting it on mine today. So thank you.
All right. Dr. Johnson, you have something to say?
Yeah, nothing more than to just echo what was just said. I always believe that when imposter syndrome shows up in a person, it only shows up in people who really are not imposters. You notice people who are fakers, they never suffer from imposter syndrome. They have nothing to say. They're not out there doing, what's on their purpose and on their heart. But the people who are on their purpose, it emerges in them, and it's just treated as a systems of checks and balances. When
Mm,
feel that feeling of fear, whatever that looks like, whatever you label it as, it really is just the creator of your understanding saying, lean on me in this moment. What you have to say, what each of us on this call has to say and bring to this world, it's what we are uniquely charged with bringing. That's why we're authors, right? It's because we've been charged to bring something to this world that to help the creator of our understanding share the message that was implanted in us. And so when that fear shows up, it really is to check ourselves so that we don't step up there in our ego. We step up in there with the guidance of that creator. And it's a moment to pause, knowing that if you're feeling like an imposter in this moment, the only thing for you to do is to pause in that moment and allow the creative your understanding to guide your steps from that point. The person that you wrote the book for, that you're there to speak to. They've been praying for an answer from their creator, and you're being used to deliver that answer. So every time I feel it, every time anyone in my circle feels that that impulse of fear, it's about pausing in that moment to reconnect with the creator and allow the creator to guide our voice and to guide our steps. So I wish you all the best. I know you're going to crush it. You're going to
mhm.
help somebody overcome or miss a pitfall that they may be heading toward. You're there to be there to bridge the gap. So bless you, and I know you'll kill it. You're gonna just do amazingly.
Thank you so much.
Yes, yes. So you got this. You got this. Truly. Any other comments? So Marcel, when you get a chance, did you drop your make sure you drop something in the chat for us to follow you and look at the book as well
Yes,
whenever you
ma'am.
get a chance.
It's
Yep.
the website and the email. When you ask for the email, I put it out there and taking notes. I'm going to start an email repository myself, but excuse me, I put all that out there. Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome. All right. Anyone else have any events or anything coming up? Black History Month in March, April. I think Joyce says she's presenting at the Revolutionary War ancestry at the Museum of American War in Philadelphia. Her book is Graham's Gifts, so she's presenting there. We had Candy. She's gonna be in Antonia and San Antonio. All right, all right, all right. February is a big month. Find the event. They're I'm noticing that a lot of events are being posted on Instagram. Take a look. Look at book clubs, bookstores, nonprofit organizations, the city itself. A lot of cities are doing these night markets, day markets, or whatever they want to call them. They're all over the place. Blue Poetress. You go. I'm sorry.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just letting everybody know, and maybe people don't know about it. I'm going to be attending the AWP conference, Association of Writers and Poets in Baltimore. So it's a big conference from March 4th to the 7th in the Baltimore Convention Center.
Oh,
So if people are interested, it's pretty huge, and it's a good organization to become a member for. Um, Lots of information, journals, awards, prizes. Um, So it's a good thing to join. But yeah, this is gonna be my first time. It's gonna be a massive conference. I'm nervous, curious. I think there's going to
Yeah,
be a couple of thousand people that attend. There's going to be different workshops, panels, etc. And I paid for a booth to be a part of the massive
nice.
book fair. So I think there's like, I want to say like 100 vendor book. So something to think about.
Yeah.
EWP for any authors. So that's something to think about. I'm Long Island based, so I'm also part of Long Island Authors.
Mhm.
They also do a lot of local events. So we do something called Book Bites. So they choose different, usually it's a restaurant, sometimes it might be a library or a bookstore, and authors come, you set up a little table, they open it up to, local consumers. They come, they meet you, and that's where, you have your little table. Maybe you have book cards, maybe you have the stickers and things that everybody else has been talking about. But locally, it's a pretty cool thing to just get out and meet people and have people see your book and see what you're all about. So that's that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, be ready to sell some books, have some comfortable shoes on, and some water because you're gonna be talking, talking, talking. So be ready. They're gonna be super excited to see you. Dr. Johnson, you want to talk about your free master class on Tuesday real quick?
Sure. So the masterclass is free, it's open. It is not necessarily specific for authors, but authors could definitely benefit from being able to take their wisdom from their books and then translate that into a high ticket offer, which is what everyone should be doing, by the way. You can't it's not that you can't get rich selling books because you absolutely can. It just takes a lot of books to do so. But partnering that with other products and services like what was shared here earlier today is a great way to magnify and amplify your abundance and prosperity by pairing that with the knowledge and wisdom that's in your book. So it's free to everybody for everybody to come. You'll walk away with the plan on how to do that. And I did put the link in the chat, and look forward to seeing you all there. It'll be a great time. It's about 60 minutes, and at the end of it, you'll have a great plan to start implementing.
Awesome, awesome. Candy, you want to talk a little bit about your podcast? Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, I'll be on live on TikTok tonight, this evening. It is on my TikTok page, at author Candy Usher, with Miss Sharice and Johnson Moore. Um, and he and I will be talking about my book, Her Mother's Daughter, and being an indie author, what it's like, what it is to publish for yourself, things like that. So we'll be on from 7 Eastern time to 8 Eastern time, which I'm in Central, so it'll be 6 my time to 7 my time. And just having those conversations. And then I wanted to mention too that I will be going back to Germany later on this year. I was supposed to go to
Oh,
London in March, but there was a time constraint, so we can't do London, but we will be going back to Germany in October for the
oh,
International Book Fair. So if you
nice.
ever have an opportunity, I mean, literally look up international book fairs. Like she brought up earlier, that's a connection right there to get products and stuff from other countries and they see you. I've been asked to actually do Zoom calls and, things like that, talking about being an indie author because I was one of the few indie authors that was there. Most of them were
Nice.
published. Um, so yeah, make those connections. Find those. They're
Awesome.
really good.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. Nice. Germany. Awesome. I love Germany. Can drive fast, real fast in Germany. So thank you. All right, well, we're about to get started with our next speaker, Miss Paula Banks. Actually, I first met her when she sent me this awesome book. Had this cover with this beautiful black girl with ponytails, and her name was Peyton, and talked about her first day of school. And I carried that book around for all summer long. And kids was like, "What is that, Miss Kim?" I said, "That's Peyton. Go on Amazon, go on her book website and get that book." And they love the books. The colors, the cover was so eye-catching. The content was wonderful. So she had me walking around with Peyton's first day in my bag for a whole summer, and they couldn't get enough of it. So let's welcome Miss Paula Banks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm so glad that you have Peyton walking around with Peyton all summer. I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Well, I appreciate you having me to be a speaker here at the conference. I am Paula Banks. I am a children's book author. That's how I started. I am a publisher through Eon Books Publishing, and I also run a creative studio that helps behind the scenes, which helps authors with the system side of things to get some foundational aspects into place. And I usually help first-time authors who have never written a book, they've never published a book, and that is what Eon Books Publishing does. I specialize in children's books, but I do give supportive publishing support to other authors. When it comes to publishing, I don't see it from just one angle. I see it from several angles, from the author side, because I am an author, from the publisher side, and then from the system side. Because as writers, we just want to write. We don't want to think about any other aspects of the publishing process. So I get to see when a author brings me their book and they're excited when it's finished, but they don't realize that there is an entire process in publishing to get to that point. And then I start to see that there is some confusion with when they have to start making decisions. And I see the frustration that what they thought publishing was doesn't match the reality of what it really is. So in my experience, most authors, they do not lack commitment, they don't lack talent. They really care about their work, their writing. But what they're missing is clear information about what publishing really is. And that is what is going to determine the decisions that they make moving forward in the publishing process. So today I want to talk about some do's and don'ts of publishing. And I'm talking from experience because when I published my first book, 2 years, it'll be next month, I had no idea what I was doing. I knew that I always loved to write, so I wrote a book. That was the easy part. I didn't know about how I was going to get the book into a book form. I didn't know how I was going to get illustrations. I knew nothing. And I had to learn as I moved along. And that was a lot of Googling, a lot of YouTube, a lot of watching other children's book authors and just authors in general to see what they were doing. Another aspect was getting it on, what platform. It was a whole process that I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So I'm talking about things that I've actually lived through. And when I deal with other authors, I see patterns over and over and over again, that I want to help them not make those same mistakes in the beginning that I did. And it's going to help them have less stress. And it's going to align with what their the outcome that they want. So my goal is not to tell you like, you should do this, you should do that, because everybody's publishing journey is different, because everybody has a goal that they want to achieve. So I just want to give you some information as to what I've seen, what I've done, what works that I've seen work and what I've seen that didn't work. So I'm not going to talk about trends or shortcuts and all those other things. I want to talk about clarity that you must have when you begin to publish a book. Because if you do not have clarity when you begin the publishing process, it's going to affect all the decisions that you make moving forward. And you're going to feel overwhelmed and pressure when this is a process that should feel exciting, because at the end of it, you will have a book that you can hold in your hands and share with the world. So one of the biggest challenges that authors face is misunderstanding what publishing really means. So someone can say, I want to publish a book. That's great, but publishing has different stages. Though writing a book is one part of the publishing process. Publishing a book is another. Marketing is another publishing part of the process of the publishing process, and distribution is another. Now, as authors, we just want to write. When I had my first book, I didn't even think about marketing. That was not even a word that popped up in my head until I learned that, oh, now you have to do the hard part. You have to market this thing. You have to get it out there into the world. So people have to understand that publishing is just not, oh, I'm publishing a book. There are stages that you will have to go through. The publishing doesn't end when your book is on a platform. And all of these things that I just mentioned are separate roles, but people look at them as just one big task, and it's not that. So when publishing starts to feel heavy and overwhelmed, that is reality, that you have to understand that these are multiple responsibilities, and that if you don't have the clarity, these things will weigh you down in the process. So once you understand this distinction, that publishing is different, they have different stages, you really begin to look at the full picture, and that overwhelm starts to cease just a little bit. So publishing begins to feel like happy again. It feels more doable instead of feeling like a task. So one of my first do's in publishing is get clear on your goal, because everybody has different goals when they publish a book. So you have to ask yourself, why do you want this book to exist? Who is it for? And what is the book role meant to play? So when I wrote my first book, I just wanted to write a book. I wanted to check it off my bucket list. I didn't think about getting paid for it. I didn't think about, extending it by doing a curriculum or any of those things. I just wanted to say, hey, I published a book. My book is on Amazon. I'm done. That was it. And that's what some people want to do. Others want to monetize. They want to make money. They want to get back their investment of what they paid to get the book. Some want to expand, make a whole series of their book. So you have to be clear as what do you want this book to do for you? So if an author comes to me and says, I just want to publish a book, but when you actually slow that down and really start to, go deep and tell them, okay, you want to publish a book, but what are your goals? What do you want this book to do? Do you want it to go any further? Do you want this to be a book that you can use for speaking opportunities or to show your authority? Do you want it to support children and families? So these are the things that have to be established before you can move forward in the publishing process. Now, nobody's goals are wrong. Everybody has different goals, but they just require different decisions. So a book created for impact looks different for a book, again, that is created to make money, to earn income. One that you want to use a book to help prove your authority in a certain field, or you just want to sell bulk books to school systems or to whoever. All those are different goals, which are fine, and there is no problem with it, but those goals all require a different set of decisions to help you get to that particular goal. So a book without a clear purpose will always feel heavier to manage because every decision is uncertain. If you don't have a clear goal as to what you want your book to do, you could be all over the place during the publishing process. So my first don't make decisions out of excitement. So excitement is a terrible decision maker. It is a horrible to make a decision when you're excited. And this is where I see where authors get into trouble, because they're rushing to hire illustrators, rushing to get cover designs, they're rushing timelines just to see that progress happen. And as a children's book author, illustration is one of the longest processes of writing a book. That is, you have to wait, and there's revision. So, but you want your book now. But things don't always move quickly. So when I've worked with certain authors who they've moved quickly because they're excited and they want to hold that book in their hand, but they later realize that they didn't fully understand what the whole process entails. So you have to slow down and make sure that you're making decisions not from a place of excitement, but a place of, okay, are these going to hinder my goals, or are they going to get me to my goals? And publishing a book is not a quick situation. It takes time, especially if you want to do it right. My second do is to understand ownership. So ownership is one of the most important and misunderstood parts of publishing, in my opinion, because again, as authors, we just focus on writing a lot and not more of the business side of publishing. But let's take an example for ISBN numbers. So ISBN, as we all know, if you don't, stands for International Standard Book Number. And I like to explain to my clients that an ISBN is like a VIN number for a car. A VIN number, it uniquely identifies a car, and an ISBN number does the same thing. So no two books or even different formats of the same book will share an ISBN number. So the ISBN number is tied to something called metadata. So metadata is the information attached to your book that tells retailers and libraries and platforms what this book is, what it includes, who wrote it, the title, and all those good things. The book is the product and the metadata is the label. But when you first start out and you're a new author and you go to Amazon, you upload your book, they're going to ask you, do you have your own ISBN number, or do you want us to give you one for free? Of course, you're new author, you don't know, you're going to say, give me that free ISBN. But what a lot of authors don't know is that ISBN number is tied to that platform. And you don't own that ISBN number. So you can't take that ISBN number that's tied to your book and say you wanted to put it on Ingram Spark. No, you can't. It is tied to Amazon. It can only be sold on Amazon with that number, and that is it. Same thing with Ingram Spark or any other platform if you do not own your ISBN number. And the only place to, in my opinion, to get an ISBN number you can have for your book is Bowker.com. They are legitimate. They are the ones where you want to go and buy an ISBN number. When I first started, I took the free ISBNs because I didn't know any better. I didn't have a lot of money. It was, I just did what I could. But as I learned and as I continue to write books, I realized it is important to have your own ISBN number. That way you can take your book and you can put it on any platform. You own that number. It is yours. So a lot of authors do not understand that. They don't know any better because, of course, we're first-time authors. We didn't know. And that is how I learned from other authors when they ask, well, do you have your ISBN for this? And I'm like, I don't even know what that was. I didn't even know what an ISBN number was, honestly. So those little things, when I work with my clients, those are things that I want to, explain to them and teach them and give them the opportunity to say, okay, I have this option and I have that option, and some people don't really care. They'll take the free and that's fine. But again, it all depends on your publishing goals. And you want to be able to own, you want to have that ownership. And having your own ISBN number, that is the first step. So to move on to my second don't, is to assume that visibility equals sales. And I had to learn that the hard way. It is one of the most common misconceptions in publishing is that believing that visibility automatically is going to equal sales. Like if I'm out here, I'm promoting my book, my book is out, everything is great, I'm going to get a ton of sales. And that is not the truth. That is not the truth. I see authors all the time posting consistently, and they get discouraged because the sales don't follow. And they assume that the book is a problem, and it's not. It's in reality, there's no system supporting the visibility. So as a first-time author, again, as I had a book, and then I realized, okay, I have to have marketing. So I started marketing. But I didn't have any place to send the people who wanted to book but to Amazon. I learned how Amazon worked with their royalties and how that went and how long it took me to get paid. So I figured, okay, maybe I need to get a website. So I got myself a website. And then I realized, okay, I got a website. And then I learned, oh, I should build an email list. And then I got all those things in place so I can have clear messaging and support of when I'm promoting my book. I have to have somewhere to send them to. And a lot of authors didn't understand that. Just to have that foundation of having a place to send your potential buyers to is so important. A book should not carry everything by itself. You have to have the foundational structure in the background. You have to have an email list. You have to have a web page. At least a landing page is what I tell my clients, is to at least have that. So you can have a digital home online so people can come and find out about you. They can buy your book. And you don't want Amazon to always get all your royalties. You can sell your book yourself, and that money comes directly to you. No waiting for 60 to 90 days to get payment, And when the visibility fades or when things die down, you still have your foundation in place. You have an email list where you can still, connect with your people. You can, sell to them directly. As we all know, social media is fleeting. It can go down tomorrow and you would lose all those folks if you don't have an email list to build your community and connect with them. So the book is not itself, it's not the issue. It is that you have to make a decision to have the foundation in place when you're thinking about publishing a book. You think about the publishing, but you always have to think about also what happens when the book is out there and where am I going to send these folks to? What foundations, the basic foundations do I have in place? And these things should be in place before you even put your book out. You should have a landing page, a website, somewhere to collect emails. Those are things that should be in place prior to launching your book. So you are set up for success and not scrambling after the fact, like, oh my goodness, I have to get these things together. My next, my third do is build support around the book. So strong publishing includes building support around your book. And that doesn't have to be complicated. It is as simple, as I said before, as a clear website, a way people that can stay connected, and clear language of what the book is for, who it's for, what is it going to do for you? What is the transformation? Everybody wants to know the transformation. What is it going to do if I pick up your book and buy it for myself or for my child? And having that support in place, it is part of the publishing process. It helps publishing feel lighter. And when it's missing, it affects marketing and it makes everything harder. So you definitely need to have all those things in place, as I said before you start with launching your book. And when you step back and look at all the pieces when it comes to publishing, you will see that once these things are in place and you have these foundations in place and you know who the book is for and you know the message that you want to convey, you know what you want your book to do, these things make publishing easier, and it really gives you the feeling of I'm putting out a book that I know what it is, who it's for, you're confident in that. And I think that is what publishing should feel like. And again, it's a process. Publishing is a process. It's from the starting point for your manuscript all the way, and it continues on until it's out, it's launching, you're marketing, and it continues to grow even after the release. And as it's out there, you know, it'll clarity will improve over time. But I don't want published people to feel that publishing is overwhelming, because it can be if you do not know the ins and outs, or you know, the do's and don'ts. And the path again is going to be different from everyone. I just feel like the most important thing is to be clear about what you want what publishing you want to do, clear of what you want your book to do. Once you have that clarity, it makes everything much easier when you are about to take on the publishing journey. And it's okay if you just want to check it off your bucket list. It's fine. Some people don't care if they make a dime off their publishing, and that's okay. I have clients who just literally wanted to write a book and put it out there, and that's it. You know, they don't market it. They don't do any of those things. They just wanted to be able to have a book and say, I did it. And then I have clients who definitely want to make some coins from their book. And we talk about how marketing and how, you know, that plays into the publishing process. So again, your clarity is going to drive the car when it comes to your publishing journey. And I just love how, for me, helping people bring their stories to life and their voices to be heard. That is why I enjoy the publishing process. I think I enjoy it more to do it for others than for myself. It's really important to me for people to tell their stories and use their voices. And storytelling is one of those things that I feel is one of the best ways to use your voice and get your point across and tell, you know, how you feel about something. So that is why I truly enjoy publishing, especially children's book publishing, because we definitely need a diverse books in the children's publishing space. And that is something that I truly enjoy.
It looks like it.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought I heard something. Well, that is what I have for the do's and don'ts of publishing. Is there any questions? Anybody have any things they want to share? Any questions about what I've spoken about today? Anything that I can answer?
I just wanted to thank you for, I'm sorry, I'm in transition, but thank you for sharing, because of course you are part of my publishing team and you have made my debut book a success. Just the visibility, the fact that I've gotten all the pre-orders, school contracts, and I know a lot of that is due to you and Miss Juanita working together to strategize for me. So I definitely encourage anyone to, you know, self-publishing is a thing, but to take heed to what you've shared, because it's made the difference for me. So thank you for, you know, sharing that in an organized way to where others can take away and utilize that for themselves, or even possibly reach out to you or others to have a team.
Thank you, Dr. Tiffany. It's been a pleasure working with you on your book, We Stay. So I truly enjoyed working with you and helping you with your marketing for your children's book. Any other questions?
Any other questions before I ask all mine? All right. I have a couple of questions actually. I'm glad you said that the publishing is not just one thing. You talked about all the different steps, and I think that's what some people get confused. And oh, I want to publish a book and don't realize those steps. I just heard Dr. Tiffany say that she has pre-orders. Can you talk to about the importance of doing things like that before the book even comes out?
Yes,
Because people think
pre-orders.
I should wait.
No. Pre-orders is something that is very helpful for you to have a pre-order. And that's one of the reasons you should have your own website, because Amazon does not allow you to do pre-orders for the physical copy of the book. They'll allow you to do it for the ebook. But if you have your own website, you are able to pre-order and get that early money from those pre-orders. And that money comes to you, not Amazon. But pre-orders is something you should definitely do. At least you can hold pre-orders for a month. Some people hold pre-orders 6 to 8 weeks prior to their book release. But pre-orders, Dr. Tiffany, she killed it during her pre-orders for the book that we did, for the anthology we just did together. When I tell you she killed it, it was amazing how many people pre-ordered her book before it came out. She made back her investment in the anthology plus some. And that was before the book even dropped. And we didn't do a really long pre-order, maybe like 3 weeks, but she showed up, she was visible, and it really helps. I always do a pre-order for my book because it does help with sales. Some people don't buy until it drops, but there is a lot of people who are like, yo, I want to make sure I get it, so let me pre-order now. And that is something that should be in place prior to the launch. So if you have a book coming out, especially any kind of book, it doesn't matter the genre, you should do a pre-order. Even if you don't want to do a long one, do one for like 2 to 3 weeks and get those early sales in. And again, that is one of the main reasons why, another important reason why you should have your own website, because you want to get pre-orders and you want to get those funds, and that can help you fund, some people do pre-orders before their book is even done to help make money to finish their book, so it helps you in so many different ways. But if you've never done a pre-order, you should definitely try, because it can change the game for you, especially when monetary wise.
And then as far as finding a publisher, so this going on the opposite side, say if you had to find a publisher, what are some questions that authors should ask before they even sign an agreement to make sure they are reputable or they good and it's going to go through right? I think someone said her publishing fell through. I think Marcella said something like that. So what are some questions you should ask? Like, because they are out here putting that word publishing on their name and not doing publishing.
Yes. So there's so many different type of there's publisher that you want self-publishing, you get support, publishing support. So somebody's helping you publish your book, they're helping you find an editor, they're helping you do that. And then there's publishing under an imprint. Excuse me. So under an imprint. So if you're publishing under an imprint, like for me, mine is Eon Books Publishing. So if you come to me and say, hey, I want to publish, if I was going to a publisher, I would ask, like, are you offering publishing support for a self-publisher, or do you have your own imprint? Is this hybrid publishing, which is you pay for some things, they pay for some things? I would ask them, how many books have they published? I would ask them, do they have a published, like, do they have someone, I'm going to say children's book, because I'm a children's book author, children's book, like, do you have an illustrator you work with? I would ask for a sample from their illustrator to see if their illustrator is in the same style that I envision my book to be in. Because you can say, oh, you got an illustrator, and then they have a totally different style from what you're looking for. Ownership. Do I keep all my royalties? That should be the number one question. Like, if I'm helping you, do I keep all my royalties? Do you get anything, or if what I pay you up front, that's it, and then everything else goes to you. And that is very important, because people sign contracts every day and don't realize, like, okay, they might be getting a hefty royalty after the fact is you already paid them a couple of $1,000s, So ownership is very important. who's getting paid? Am I paying you after the fact? Are you getting paid from all of my books that I sell? Those things are what you should definitely be asking authors, because we get so excited. Well, people get so excited about, oh, I'm going to publish a book, and then they might get like a great price, like, publish with me for $9.99. And what is that $9.99 really costing you? You know what I'm saying? Are you giving your book price away? Like, you have a book, but are you getting any royalties off that book? Or what is that $9.99 giving you? You should always want to get a broken down, like, what is this getting me? You know what I'm saying? When you read it, you want a contract, it shouldn't just say publishing. That is it should tell you what you're getting. If you're getting marketing with that, if you're getting X amount of, revisions, or if you're getting this, everything should be broken down so and you're protected. So nothing is a surprise. Publishing should have no real surprises that are big. I mean, like, there could be delays, but there should be no surprises like, oh, well, I'm getting 80% of your book, royalty. So, like, those are things you don't want to ever have to encounter. So always ask about ownership, number one, when you are trying to find a publisher, and do your research. Make sure they're reputable. See if they have other books out there. The internet is great. It's just not to give us tea. It's to give us some. We got some things to look. So you have to do your own research. You can't depend on someone just to tell you information. You take that information and take it for oh, it's gold. You have to be the responsible of one and find out, like, are they scammy? Are they reputable? And do that research, do a little stalking is what I say, and then move from there.
Yeah. So what made you after you did your book, what made you create your own imprint as well?
So when I started my book, I just wanted to have something besides my name. That's how it just started. It started saying Paula Banks. So I did Eon Books Publishing. And that was just me, just so I didn't have to, you put my name when I was doing things in like Ingram Spark and KDP. And then my sister-in-law was like, I really want to write a book. You've done a couple. Can you help me? I was like, fine. I really enjoyed that process of just publishing her book and, walking her through the steps and showing her everything. And then I started just giving publishing support to others. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to really do this because I enjoy it. So then I started my imprint. So I just published my first book under my imprint, Eon Books Publishing. So I'm super excited about that. And it's for children's book authors, because that's my specialty. That's where I feel like I shine, and I can really guide, because children's books are, they're a little different in marketing, and, and that is what I enjoy. So that is, and I want more diverse children's books out here. So that is who I invite in, who have a book, a story to tell, especially diverse ones that we need in the publishing world today. So that is really what made me want to start my own imprint, just make it an imprint to help others bring their stories to life.
Okay. Any questions? I've been asked on mine.
It's fine. I mean, I'm glad you asked,
Anything coming up next? You said you just did the first book. Anything else coming up for you, Paula?
So I have a series, Peyton's Journey. So I have written 3 books for Peyton. Yes, I have a Christmas book, Peyton's First Day at a New School, and Peyton's Hip Hop Adventure. I do have a book that I dropped in March for little boys, Marcus and Big Red's super trucktastic adventure. I just dropped my first non-children's book, but it's for parents, but for children. It's called Story Hustle. I'm sorry, I just went blank. Story Hustle, how to raise a storyteller, even if you're not a writer. And it's like a guide to help parents nurture their child's voice and their storytelling. So I released that in October, and my next Peyton book will be out January 2027. Peyton, and this one will deal with anxiety. So I am super excited about that, and I'm working on something totally different. My first Christian book I'll be working on to drop around my birthday this year. That's just totally out of my children's book realm, but it's just something that I've been wanting to do. But yeah, and I'm helping other authors with my Eon Creative Studio, and that's me helping authors get the foundational basics that I was talking about, their website, building an email, funnels, and just getting them set up so when they do release their book, or if they have a book, they have that in place to send their customers to.
I think Candy said something about why do we keep hearing about book trailers? Are they still relevant? I mean,
yeah, like I'll do a book trailer for my clients, for children's book clients. I mean, I like them. I mean, you can get an extravagant book trailer, and you can just get a basic one. I don't think they hurt, and I don't think that if you don't have one, it's gonna hurt you. But I don't see like you have to have a book trailer. I don't think that is something that is necessary. You can make it, and you can implement it into your marketing, but I don't think a book trailer is going to make or break anything when it comes to having one for your book.
Okay. All right. Any other questions before we let her go? This is your time to ask questions.
You just made my day telling me that you walked around with Peyton all summer. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm so happy.
Oh my goodness. I raved about that one. So
I
it was
am
so fun. I was just thinking about it when I walked away. I said, someone said, "Is that your daughter?" Her go, it must be. It's my baby. We would but I had the book all the time, and because that was like you were one of our first authors that we were trying to build. Like, say we're a magazine. This is what we're doing. These are some of the authors, and we had to have books with us to make us believable. So we had a whole bunch of books, and Peyton was the number one. That one and Sugar Mama. Peyton and Sugar Mama was always in the bed.
I am so happy. That just made my day. I'm so glad you shared that with me.
Yes, and because you sent me stickers and everything, I said, "Oh, I had all the goodies. I had all the goodies." And someone said, "Is that your daughter?" I was like, "No, but you should get the book." Yeah, this is an awesome book. But the one I gotta tell you this one. So we did a pop-up. We do traveling bookshops. So we did one in the city, and I had my last copy of Peyton. So a little boy walked up. He had to be like 5, and he just looked at the book. He kept turning the page and turning the page. And the mother was like, "I guess we taking that book." I said, "I guess you will."
Peyton drew him in.
Yeah, he was excited, and he would not. She said, "Well, what about that?" He said, He kept turning the pages and sat there and looked and turned. I said, "I guess you gotta take it."
Gotta take Peyton home with you. That made my day. Thank you.
He loved that book. I was like, "Wow." That was really awesome. I said, "I wish I could." I said, I asked her, I said, "Can I take a picture?" She was like, I said, "Well, I will never forget that." But yes, Peyton was
Can
my
I ask
favorite.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt. I did want to ask a quick question though of you, Ms. Paula, and that's your transition from, because I know how you said you started and your goal initially was just to get the book done. What was your greatest challenge and greatest success from making that transition from author only to author coach, supporter, and now publisher? So yeah.
My greatest challenge when I first started, this may sound crazy, but it was formatting. Formatting almost took me out. I almost quit. I almost was like, I'm not doing this. I went to go upload my book to KDP, and I was like, oh, I can do this. I was like, I'm not. But I learned a valuable lesson to, if I can't do it, I can hire somebody who can do it in probably like 5 minutes. So like I always tell people, like, if you can't do something, it's okay to invest and have somebody else do it. It's all right. It saves you the headache. But from that first book, formatting was one of the hardest things that I had to literally deal with. But the transition from being, first of all, the transition from being an author to all the things that I do now, it was never, I couldn't have seen it. It's something that is just, I'm still in awe of of where I am right now. I'm just going to share this. I always loved to write. Writing was my thing, but life happened, had kids, got married, corporate job. One day, I was praying for purpose for like a year. Like, I know I need a purpose. One day, God said, write a book. And I said to him, you can't be talking to me. And I went on about my day. And then finally, I said, I'm going to write this book. Didn't know how to write it, but I wrote it. I didn't know what I was doing. And from that, yes, my whole life has changed. I have written my first book, Peyton, on First Day New School. I have written 3 more books for Peyton. I've written 4 children's books in total. I have my last book I just wrote. I have been invited to speak places that I've never it's just amazing. I can't even articulate how amazing that my life has changed from that one yes, from just being obedient when he said write a book, and I wrote the book, and everything has done a 360. If you would have asked me 2 years ago about where I would be doing, it would be none of this. Being a publisher, any of this, helping other women and helping other authors, is crazy to me. Helping kids nurture their voices, because that's what I really am passionate about. Having children nurture their, use their voice, because your voice is the most important, and storytelling is one of those ways that they can do it. And now being a publisher is just beautiful to me, because I get to help others. I get to help others use their voice. I get to help more diverse books, be on the shelves for children. People look at me and say, like, she's inspiring. I'm going to say I'm inspiring. I'm going to say that, I guess. But I am so in awe of all the things that God has done for me and is still doing for me that it's so hard to even articulate. But my greatest moments are just moments where people, like Dr. Tiffany says, that I have helped them fulfill their dreams. I have helped them, bring their story to life. And that'll never get old. Or when a little girl says, the Peyton, she looks like me, that will never get old for me. That is one of the reasons why I wanted to write a book, because I never saw myself ever growing up in a book, ever. So when a little girl says, oh my God, Mommy, Peyton looks like me, my work is done. Like, that for me was like the ultimate goal. And I would be happy if that stopped right there, but that wasn't the plan. And I've evolved, and things have happened. And, I've never thought I would be sitting here talking about publishing on a summit, so it's just been a great journey. It's I have been stretched and doing things that I'm not comfortable doing, just speaking and, doing things that I just always shied away from. But I'm very blessed to be in the position that I am, to help other authors, especially children's book authors, who want to bring their story to life.
Thank you, and you are very much inspiring. So own that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
No,
thank you
for having me. I appreciate you having me, and giving me an opportunity to talk about my journey and publishing.
Yep. So if you are thinking about a children's book, you better reach out. You better reach out to Miss Paula Banks, because she is the person. Seriously.
Yes, I would love to help you.
Yes,
she is the one. Yes, they can reach out to me.
She got a cosign.
I'm telling you, she is like phenomenal. And yeah, her and Juanita, I will be writing many more books with their support.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right, everyone. So, the next speaker, I do not see him on here. And then the speaker after him actually has the flu. So, we may be taking a short Zoom intermission and coming back at 3:30. So we're going to take a Zoom intermission and come back at 3:30. And that time, we're going to give we have the Black Authors Awards. So any of those nominees, we will have them talk about their book. We're going to give them some time to talk about their book. And then we have Dr. Josiah Jean Perry. He will be talking about his journey, which has been awesome to follow as well. So you can use the same Zoom link to get back in, but this is the time to get up, stretch, and we will be back at 3:30. 3:30. So she's like, yes. So come back at 3:30. And we have the second half of our conference. Just a couple of takeaways from today. Multi-streams of income, various resources, being very creative with your multi-streams of income. The first speaker, she talked about how you don't have to write a 300-page book. You can break it down to different little books, and that she was really, really great with that. And then you just had a publisher talk about publishing. Everyone always asks me, well, you know a publisher, you know a publisher? There we go. Paula Banks, there we go. We got a publisher right here on with us. So if you can use her service, refer her and tell everybody about it. I tell you, Peyton's first day of school, it was my first book in my hand when we talked about Literacy Moments magazine, and it was the best thing ever. I actually read the book. I enjoyed it. So that's why it stayed in my bag all the time. So definitely share what you learned with others. Bring back a friend to the second part of the conference. But again, make sure you have your notebooks and ready to take some more notes. The second half will be really, really awesome. We have Dr. Josiah coming up, Dr. Stevie. We'll have some children's authors talking about their books and their journeys. Miriam is coming up. So we have some more great speakers coming up with different topics. So after 3:30, we have a great lineup. So I'll see everyone then, and take a break, get up, stretch, and I'll see you back at 3:30. All right.